And welcome to a Wednesday edition of Running Point. DJ Yoakley with you here, and on the other side we have the tremendous trio. It is Dave O'Malley. We call him Super Dave. We have the legend Scott Mincher and the boy wonder Quinn Pushkar over there, tending to our social media somehow. Quinn, you know how to do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All the time.
And it's Quinn Alomar Pushkar.
Quinn
right?
Alamar Velasquez Pushkar, as we all know him here at the studio. Guys, a lot to talk about, a lot of stuff, and unfortunately, it's still going to kind of revolve around Corona because that's the world we live in. As soon as our feet hit the floor, it is Corona time, and not the good kind. We're going to talk about the OHSAA and kind of the suspension that they've put on for team scrimmages moving forward, some of the options that we think are going to be out there. We're also going to talk about esports because when all the dust settles, esports is bulletproof in all of this. Is esports the wave of the future? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Scotty's favorite, the Cleveland Baseball Club, and essentially, is it necessary to keep the colors, or do you just go a completely different way? We'll also give you your Major League Baseball updates for the Cleveland Indians, and the Pittsburgh Pirates, where they're at in the standings, who they're playing tonight, and if we're impressed so far, as well as the Corona Marlins with their positive tests coming in and how we feel about that. We'll also talk more about who has the best chance of all the professional sports to complete the season, like literally make it through either the rest of their season or start to finish when you're talking about the NFL. Ohio State putting out their plan of attack for this coming fall. We'll talk about that. Astros and Dodgers. That got pretty interesting last night, boys. We'll talk about that. How you feel about the retribution. Stop playing with the microphone. You're a child. You're a child. We'll talk about everybody, well, one person's favorite, LeBron James, and 0 dark 30, 23. And if he's taking his eye off the ball, so to speak, by keeping up with social media instead of shutting it down this year. And then we'll talk about what I think is going to be a very hot topic, the NFL Top 100 list. Is it Vino or Garbino? And we'll get your calls as well during this show, 330-886-0813. If you're looking for Ron Potesta, he's going to be back on Monday. So, until then, you're going to have to deal with these four schmoes on your screen now. Guys, before we get started, interesting thing you just kind of threw at me right before we came on the air. Scott Mincher, and we're going to make this just official. You are going to go skydiving?
I'm really... it's something I've been thinking about, DJ, for a long, long time.
Okay.
And as soon as Super Dave threw it out there, Skydive Ricks, I'm like, yep, all me.
Is this like a strong idea? Like, has it ever been done before?
I mean, if it has...
You've never heard it?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Is this something we can air on YSN?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For sure.
Not live. I don't think that we have the Wi-Fi or MiFi capabilities to be up in the sky. We might. Who knows?
We have Skydive Ricks like every day. Come out here. And,
yeah, sure.
Every time we have a new story, what we should do. And when we hit upon that one just light bulbs went off in the van.
My goodness, can you imagine?
Much better than me getting married above Skydive Ricks. That one was quickly.
That was legit. That happened.
We had all kinds of Skydive Ricks is the place that we're gonna
Skydive Ricks. And here's the thing, Scotty. Are you afraid of heights?
I've had little fears. I wouldn't say I'm terrified of heights, but yeah, I've had fears in the past. But a few years ago, DJ, probably 5 to maybe 8 years ago, so actually more than a few, I said, what do I got to lose? I got to get on and I got to, experience some things. And I don't know, I think it would be really thrilling, too. It could end tragically.
I don't want it to end tragically. That's why I'm asking you. Have you thought all this through?
We got a research team out right now. First of all, I don't think Skydive Ricks is a sponsor, so I'm
no, they're
throwing
not.
his name out there
You're
anymore.
saying, that's right.
Free press from Skydive Ricks. But it's something we're going to look into, and we're going to have to, the logistics and how to actually
We can make this happen. We can legitimately make this happen. I'm excited within reason. I will contain my excitement.
Well, this would put YSN on the national map.
I'm scared. I'm scared to all hell because I don't. First off, I don't like heights. The thought of jumping out of a perfectly proper airplane does not make sense to me. Just for a thrill. But God willing, Scotty, if you want to do it, if you're excited to do it, Dave, are you going with him?
I am not. I will not be jumping out of an airplane. On the
Well,
record.
Scotty's on his own.
In closing on this, DJ, we've talked, and I like you because you
Don't
get
even
my,
say you want me to go with you because it ain't happening.
I'm saying you make me think a lot about things, and we've talked before, and you said sometimes to get somewhere you have to sacrifice and give things up. So
You have a reputation as a renowned
so
risk
if it
taker.
means if me skydiving is gonna put YSN
I don't-
over the top,
I'm not going down for this. I'm not going down for. I tell you what I will do. I'll either put Quinn in the plane with you, or we'll get Jeff Bezos to go alongside you. They have to battle to the death for the opportunity.
I don't do heights.
You don't do heights?
No. I hate heights.
All right,
Talk
Quinn's
about
out.
this more.
Jeff, yeah, we'll figure this out.
Jeff will do it.
We might
The
have
wheels
to.
are in motion. Scott.
Here's the thing. You know how we do it on YSN. Everything's about the people and being a democracy. So we might put it up to a vote. What YSN person or people should go up in the plane, and then the winner goes with Scotty up in the plane and has to jump with them. So Quinn, you might be jumping.
Not gonna happen.
The term
He's
winner
dead
has never been
serious.
more
Yeah,
used
that should be in quotation marks, right? The air quotes are up for that one.
And I kind of lied, DJ. I gotta admit that heights are. I mean, it's kind of scary.
You're not a fan.
But for YSN, I would do it.
There's certain
Well,
lines that
you'll be
even I
so
won't
liquored up,
cross.
Scotty, you won't even know how high you're up.
I'm afraid of movie theaters, Scotty. I'm afraid the other way. I'm afraid of high ceilings. So like if it was YSN if it was YSN or going to a movie theater and I had to do it, I'd probably be out. I'd be like, all right, guys, I'm
Have you
going
ever been
back.
diagnosed with vertigo or anything?
I don't know. I've never been into a doctor and said, hey, this is what I think. But that's everybody tells me it's vertigo.
Psychological.
Yeah, it's psychological. I mean, to a church, to gyms, things of that nature. Like I can't go to. I've been to the Q once, or Rocket, whatever it is now.
Romo
I know the
Fino.
feeling you're talking about. I don't get it.
Can't do it.
strong, But
Can't do it. Dude. It's like as soon as it hits you, it's you grab onto your seat. You're like, how do I get out of here? Like you're looking for exits constantly. But the being above everything, it doesn't bother. Have you ever been in an airplane?
this week.
I have been in an airplane. Yes.
Did it bother you?
It did not.
We
did-
tied this in with our Face Your Fear episode
Yeah.
with you.
Oh. So you go into a plane and I go to a movie.
Yeah.
Face
Sounds
Your
like somebody's getting the winning end on that one.
It depends on where you're at. If you're afraid, you're afraid.
That's true.
I wasn't afraid at all, like thinking, oh, what if this plane goes down? But what's hard for me is when I'm in my chair, I can still like stretch my legs out and move around. In a plane, there's like
nowhere.
no leg room. So by the end of the plane ride, I was like so sore.
Yeah.
I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, it's rough, and it's getting rougher because they kept packing those planes tighter and tighter so they can get more and more people on it because the dollars, right? So, interestingly enough, chime in now. Would you? I don't even know how to phrase this. Would you want to see Scotty jump out of an airplane? Like for your parents, I hope no. I hope nobody comments. But don't do this for YSN, Scotty. Do it only if you like. It's a bucket list thing for you, because. First off, the insurance will not cover us. Secondly, I'm not sure that I like being the guy that goes. Anything you guys would do, anything I would pass along to my guys. I like to be able to say I would do first or I would do it. I would not jump out of an airplane. It would never happen.
Speaking of uninsurable sports, do you guys remember slam ball?
Oh yeah.
That went away quickly because that could not get insured.
You think that was that it?
That was one of the big reasons I read an article about
It would
it.
have to be.
I think
I followed the league. I loved it.
here's in talking about insurance. I think that's one of the big reasons we're not going to see many sports this year. because if it's a high risk or high contact, I think that the insurance goes up.
Insurance plays its part in a lot.
That people don't even
Making
think
of
about.
movies,
Yep.
sport. I mean,
People don't. They're all focused on the OHSAA and the governor, but I think even if the governor gave them the go ahead, I think the insurance would be sky high.
yeah, you're on your own.
Because what I mean, that's the thing people aren't talking about, and the liability is through the roof. Because then who do you point the finger at? Governor's going to say, do it. I mean, they literally have schools do it if you wish. OHSAA schools do it if you wish. We're off of this. So that leads us to our first topic, guys. The OHSAA suspending team versus team scrimmages. Is this a precaution or a precursor? Let's get your opinions. Let's start with you, Dave.
Well, we were talking about this. I think the season. I don't think there's going to be sports. I think
Any.
I think they're going to wash it. And,
All sports.
So I think this is a precursor to what things are going to happen.
Even low contact, like volleyball, golf, tennis, like the ones that have already been
What are we talking
okay.
about? Just suspend all sports until at least 2021.
I mean,
They try to bring baseball back. Look what's happening. I mean, they're gonna risk that for amateur teens.
It's different when it's not for money, right? It's different when it's your kid. So it's interesting to see now. Keep in mind that the majority of us are not going to go out to, like NBA. We talked about it yesterday, the Power Hour. We're not going to go out to a gentleman's club or anything like that and put ourselves in harm's way. And a lot of it is local versus local, right? So if you're Hubbard, you're playing South Range, or you're playing Girard, stuff like that. So a lot of the germs are cross-contaminated. Whereas when you're talking about the Marlins and the Braves, there's some space between, like Dave Matthews once said, right? Is that Dave Matthews' song?
I believe so.
The space between.
Creed last week, Dave Matthews this week.
Yeah, and I'm not a singer, so I apologize to anybody that I just offended, especially Dave Matthews. But he's
Look, I want sports to come back, but there's this backlash across the board, and I don't know how they're going to pull this off.
Scotty. What's your thoughts?
yeah, to kind of piggyback off of what
This is
Dave
a
just
conversation
said,
we had, so
DJ.
okay.
Yeah, I just think I have to agree that it's a precursor here. I mean, I think it's one of those things where people say I heard you guys talking. I think it was yesterday on the Power Hour about Ohio State and their proposal, which we'll get to
Correct.
later on in the show. And somebody said, if they really cared about the players, they would just play the games with no fans. My opinion is, if they really cared about the players, they'd wipe it out totally this year. And maybe, I don't know how they would do it, but maybe you somehow get another year where you're eligible to play. Like, it just gets.
I don't think you could do that in high school, though.
Yeah.
21
mean,
kids playing.
Who the hell wants to come back for a fifth year of
We're
high
from the
school?
city, so we're a lot more cynical about the whole thing.
Yeah.
We don't have that rosy outlook that these Palestinians.
That's the thing. I mean, the selfish part of me, like, I love sports. I was so happy when baseball's back, and I want to see it. I want to be optimistic here, but I think, I just think, like what you've been talking about on the Power Hour, and should they pull the plug, should they wait, I think you just go ahead and you say, we're gonna pull the plug on these sports and say, for the fall, it's no fall sports. And I think you could maybe flip it to the spring and find a way to make it work, but
I don't think.
you don't think so?
I don't, because I think when you have to make kids choose between, let's just put football and baseball, or football and track. I mean, half the track team is on the football team, right? So if you're making them choose, track dies immediately. And you look at baseball, You've got kids that are football and baseball players. We know a lot of them. Baseball probably goes away because you don't have enough players. What if you have a Friday game? I mean, it's the same with some of the obstacles that schools are facing right now because parents aren't allowing their kids to play sports. You've got volleyball players that are playing soccer for the first time, let's say, just to keep the program alive. So what happens if there's a soccer game on a Tuesday or a Thursday when you've got a volleyball game? Kids have to pick, and they're going to pick the sport that they love the most. And I was explaining this to somebody last night. When you go to college, especially Division III small schools, there's a lot of times players that are still playing two sports, dual sports. They go to school and they're paid to go through football, right? Because even though there's no athletic scholarships, that's how they're presented. They're on the football team. There's things that open up, right? Baseball team, that's not necessarily the case. Or name your sport. So if you have to go, the kids might love playing baseball and love what it's all about, but they've got to play football in order to have money to go to school there. So when it comes down to it, you got to go where your bread's buttered. And that's why football is in a great position, and the other sports, maybe not so much. Quinn?
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of lost track of where we're going with it all, but I agree with that. I mean, football is the revenue maker in every level. I mean, at every level, football makes the money to carry you through.
Do you feel that the OHSA suspending team versus team scrimmages is a precaution so we can have 10 football weeks or more? Or do you think it's a precursor to we're going to cancel the rest of the season or a portion of it?
I want to say it's not a precursor. I really don't. But
what does your gut say?
My gut says is that they're following the NFL. The NFL canceled preseason. And
right.
That's kind of what preseason scrimmages are for high school. It's a preseason game, basically. It's very controlled, but it's like a preseason game. So I think they're kind of following that lead to make it so that they can still play.
So do me a favor with this, since you're the coach on the panel.
Oh, shit.
What does a preseason or a scrimmage do for a coaching staff, and what does it do for the players?
So I'm going to basically base it on basketball.
Sure.
Because that's all I really know. But I think it applies in every sport, honestly. So your scrimmages, they tell you as a coaching staff kind of where you're at as a team. They give you ideas of like who's going to be the guy that you want, who can perform in certain situations. It allows you to get different looks at what happens when you run certain things and how teams react to what you're doing. And it basically just kind of outlines, it gives you a generic outline basically of everything that could happen this season. At least in your first scrimmage. Your second scrimmage, you kind of start working on more what you want to do. We kind of trying to find your identity as a team.
Do you ever go full blast during a scrimmage?
Yes and no. I mean,
Stop riding the fence.
It's very controlled. Well, scrimmages are very controlled. Like, you never want to put your team in a situation to where you can damage it. Like, it could damage yourself. Yeah, the competitiveness comes out in it, and obviously, like, you want to win and all that. But you got to ride the fence. Honestly, you have to, as a coaching staff, because you got to see both sides and be like, well, we can really kind of take over this, but we want to work on some other stuff too.
Okay, so here's where I'm going with that line of questions: is do you think there will be more injuries because there's no scrimmages, because there's really no ramp up to the season? It's just kick off and go.
No, I don't.
You don't think there's more injuries?
I don't think there's going to be more injuries because you're still practicing. You're still doing that stuff.
I get that,
Just because you're not scrimmaging, you could still scrimmage between yourself.
Is there something different when you play somebody in another jersey?
Well, yeah. I mean, because in your own practice, you can simulate it how you want it to go. Like, you can tell your defense, like, hey, let them score. You can't do that with another team. So it kind of that's the competitive part of it. Without the preseason things, I don't think there's going to be more injuries, but I think like that first couple weeks, like maybe the first 2 weeks, is going to be really sloppy.
It's going to be ugly.
It's going to be sloppy.
So here's some of what we're hearing are some of the options on the table by Governor DeWine and by others. You tell me, as a trio, if any of these are appealing to you. The first one is no scrimmages, but 10 weeks of football. To me, that's okay. If we're guaranteed that the kids play a full schedule, full season, given that there's no more spikes or anything like that, I'm all in. Here's the second one. You get 2 scrimmages, but 8 games, and you have 10 weeks to utilize those 8 games. Your thoughts on that one?
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, if you're going to just go 10 games.
Yeah, play the
As
10
long as these
games.
kids are stretching. And
Between
getting injuries.
between those two, you're taking 0 scrimmages and 10 real deal games.
Well, the NFL preseason is mostly to pick the players. In high school, you don't need that. You know who's your starters. are.
Right. Typically.
High school's more to figure out what you want to do, in my mind.
Okay.
NFL,
So
you need them.
So
Get rid of players.
here comes the most interesting one, and the one that we haven't talked about, but is being considered by many, many, many states, because now the corona is being reported by zip code. Okay, county/league only. Thoughts on that? Where you don't have to leave your county, but maybe there's somebody in your county you don't necessarily play, and now they're on your schedule. Quinn, you're shaking your head.
It's horrible.
Why?
I mean, in our area, it's fine because there's plenty of teams. You can still fill a schedule. You go into Western Ohio, you go into those counties that are all farmland, you're going to have 2 schools in a county. What are you going to do? Play them 10 times?
That's
That's
true.
That's not going to do anything. And then you don't play playoffs. How do you do playoffs?
But if you're in the league with somebody out of your county, you're allowed to play them, right?
Yeah. I mean, as
If
long
it's
as
in a
they're
league,
as
yeah.
long as they're in your county, you're allowed to play them. Now, what Quinn's saying is
Well, all leagues contain.
not always.
Not always.
Because you look at even the NE8, who we're partnered with, and they have Trumbull County and Mahoning County, and where's Jefferson's and
No, it's way up north.
yeah, it's
Ashtabula, maybe.
Ashtabula. Thank
It
you
might
very
be
much.
Ashtabula, it might
I
be
mean,
the one
I
below
want to
it.
see Mooney and Urson's schedule. Who they're going to be playing?
well, they would be in Mahoning, so they
It's
could
gonna
play
force them to
anybody.
Play
Give
everybody.
us Mineral Ridge.
Yeah, it's, well, that's the thing. Then you get some
Liberty.
counties that have
Gerard.
15 teams. Somebody's going to get shorted on it. And then you're going to have the ones, like, you're going to have everybody, in that case, Mooney Urson, you're going to have everybody fighting to play
Mooney Urson goes
Mineral
outside.
Ridge.
I would believe
State a lot.
I would believe that if you're doing the county, it has to be a tri-county, right? It has to be
Has to be.
because you
Oh, yeah.
can't just
Separate
do
Mahoning and Trumbull.
no. Because if you're right on the line,
There's still no playoffs, though. It won't matter. There's no playoffs, though.
what do you mean?
How are you going to play a state playoff game system?
Well,
If you're doing
what
county.
you're trying to do is you're trying to get down the line to where in week 11 you can go play somebody outside.
Yeah.
It would be
Or county championship's the biggest you can get.
yeah. I would be an advocate for this regardless. I think that counties because then the lines are drawn for you, and that's a county championship would be to me is more.
Better bragging rights.
Well, it is, and then here's the other thing: is you protected your home, right? You won your championship for literally where you live, and then you go outside, and then you have who's better, Columbiana, Mahoning, Trumbull, Ashtabula. Then you can go that route, right? So then you have county versus county, the regional, the districts, all that stuff. So,
But what do you do for those ones in Western Ohio that have 2 schools in a county?
well, you'd have to pin those to,
Coldwater.
Yeah.
you'd have to
What are you
pin
gonna
them to
do?
other ones.
Or like, yeah, well, what if you play Coldwater and you're the other team in there and you're a Division like 7 school?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just
Like,
throwing out ideas.
It's just
This is what I do as a host.
That's not
You're
gonna
supposed to answer them,
That
not
ain't
me.
gonna
I have the
County's not
questions.
gonna
You have the answers.
yeah,
Scotty,
you said you're a fan. I was just asking.
what's
What your thought was?
would you be in favor of county or league schedule only for sports here in 2020?
I mean, at this point, DJ, I just, the fan part of me, I want to see sports. Like I said earlier, if it didn't come down, if everything wasn't so money driven, because let's face it, that's why I think nobody has, they've just kind of pumped the brakes on things, but they haven't canceled it, is because these schools need that money. But looking at it just as a fan and a guy that's been out of high school now over a decade,
Don't show your age, young man.
but it's one of those things where at this point, DJ, if the kids are willing to play and they feel like this plan is feasible, like it's doable and they can complete a season. The quality might go down, but to me, it's still better than nothing. I'm for it. I know Quinn said it would be terrible, but
Quinn always
just
says things are
think-
terrible.
I just
It'd
think
be awful.
at this point, DJ, again, things aren't they're just not gonna be the same as they were right now.
So here's the fourth option, Scotty, and I'll let you lead this off because you alluded to it. The fourth option is no season at all. Would you rather see no season than any of the three options I just gave you?
None of us would rather see no season. So
I would.
He's thinking it's hitting him
Yeah,
because you have to think about this.
I would say if you can do the 10 games with no scrimmages, I like that better than having no season at all. But the other options, I would say no season.
So let's put a twist on this a little bit. And this is the thinking man's or thinking woman's question. If you're guaranteed to skip this fall season and you'll never have to deal with this again, would you do it? Or would you rather play
yeah, you would never do it.
play right now with a risk, whether it's large or small, of having to deal with this for the next 5 seasons?
I would just waive the season.
You'd waive it?
I have not a lot invested in it, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't really affect me. I don't have a kid playing sports.
What if you have a senior?
If I had a senior son, I might be different.
Yeah.
But
Is it over at the end of football season?
No. It's the entire year, 2021. Well, of course, if it affects basketball,
Yeah,
then he's
I don't
worried
care
about
about football.
But if
Cancel
it-
football, if that means I can have basketball.
So,
basketball's my favorite sport.
Yeah, plain and simple.
So-
Cancel football if I can have basketball.
okay, I respect that out of where you're at.
I think kids would choose basketball over football too if given the chance.
I don't think so. Not a chance.
Play in the freezing cold snow or play in the gym. I'll play in the gym.
I
Basketball's
you're
much
you're
cooler
telling
these
me
days.
what's that?
Basketball's much cooler these days.
As in the
Hey,
season
can I go
it's
back to
played
the
in? Yes.
county schedule real quick?
We-
Yeah, but we're gonna revisit
you
this.
get into
Okay.
the small schools like Palestine, Latonia, Lowville, like smaller schools like that, where there's 20 kids on the team.
20
some
kids
might-
on what team?
Like on a football team. Some might just be like, well, maybe I'll play basketball instead. You never know.
But I've yet to see outside of, and even McDonald has good numbers on their football team. You look at, we had Jeff on. He and Brian only take 8 guys, or took 8 guys on their team with purpose. But I think that I'm not knocking basketball, but number one, you don't have the numbers to put 20 people on the bench, ever.
Well, you can. You can field a freshman team. You can field a JV team.
No, I mean on a varsity bench.
Oh.
There's what, 12 seats, 15 seats because 3 coaches.
You go 15 total.
Yeah. So you look at that and you go,
Something like that.
I don't see where kids that aren't just diehard basketball players are ever picking football. It's the same way I don't see kids that are diehard baseball players ever picking baseball. You know what I
But
mean?
you also get in that situation where there's diehard basketball players that play football, or diehard baseball guys that play football.
Those are called athletes.
Yeah.
I don't see many athletes choosing basketball over. If they're athletes, they don't choose basketball or baseball or the smaller sports unless they are the top or the cream of the crop in their. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If they're the top 1% in their school, they're the guy, they're the girl. Yeah, they're taking that sport. But if they're bottom
Football
90,
team has more prestige in high school too.
you're playing in
A
front of
little
more
bit.
fans. I mean, volleyball is the same way. Volleyball and basketball in girls' sports is the only one that is, to me, comparable. Because if I feel like everybody rallies around softball because you can play it. And then there's travel softball. And there's AAU for basketball. I understand that. But a lot of these softball players are playing softball. You know what I mean? Because they know it, they love it, and they're good at it. And for those who don't realize the difference between baseball and softball, go watch a game 12U and up, because it is a completely different game. And we'll have Anthony Hartwig in the second half of the show. We'll talk to him about it, because people just think because there's 4 bases and the ball's look similar that it's the same game.
It's the Jeff Bezos. It's easy.
It is. Oh yeah. And Jeff says
Sports are easy.
I'm gonna do my best Jeff Bezos
Good luck.
impression. Fuck boys. That's what he said in the chat for the running point. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about esports and how esports has the opportunity to take over the front lines here with regular sports being on parole. We'll take a timeout. Be back. This is Running Point with all of us, and thanks to all of you. We'll be right back.
21
Good evening,
News.
and thank you for joining us.
Let's get right to our top
More
story
experienced reporters
A new Wilmington
At
restaurant.
GM Lordstown,
telling more local stories
We'll look at
baby
efforts
boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken.
around our
Good
valley.
Community in
afternoon.
Niles,
We are
one
here in
Triangle Valley
Youngstown,
business.
right up.
Because you expect
Important for everyone.
No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
before
Court.
they become life-threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
And welcome back to the Running Point with, it typically is with Ron Potesta. Ron will be back on Monday, so make sure you're here for that. And I believe it's his birthday. So you might see some streamers up in the background. And, you know, we have a way here at YSN of making you feel special. And Ron, I think we're going to play...
That's a true story.
What's that old... Dave, you'll know this, and not because you're old, because you... because you know these things, because you have a vast knowledge. The old the game show where they hid behind the curtain and they would just describe themselves. What is it? This is your life? Is that what?
We're going to do that with Ron?
I think we're going to do that with Ron, and I think it's going to be fun. So if you're out there and you're a Ron Potesta fan or love Ron Potesta the way that we do, make sure that you send info. Quite literally, send your information to info, I-N-F-O, at ysnlive.com. We would love to have you call in the show tell stories of Ron Potesta, and we're going to
I'd
play...
like to get one of his old high school uniforms and have him try to put it on, like
Yeah.
in front of the camera, his high school baseball uniform.
Sometimes, I mean, Ron's losing a bunch of weight. He looks good.
He is.
But sometimes he wears shirts that don't make him look so good. And I love him for it. He's got the fantastic...
Shameless dresser.
He is shameless. He goes for it, and I love him. But he's like, I can't. What we're gonna have? I'm gonna make damn sure that those Pono shirts are done, and we're going to give away Pono shirts
I
on
should
the
let
air.
him know I'm in my mid-50s as well. Give him sort of an image to, base himself.
Can we
off
just
of.
put a picture of you, just like George Costanza style, on the couch? So every time Ron looks to his right, it's a picture of Super Dave on the couch.
Love it.
Like Costanza. Maybe we'll have to throw that in there. Maybe we'll do one of our good Photoshops that we do with Quinn the Photoshop maker. So we'll have This Is Your Life, the Ron Potesta edition, coming up on Monday as kind of a welcome back from his vacation. Guys, esports, and there's a lot of different takes on this, and there's a lot of different opportunities here locally for new teams. I don't know if it falls into the OHSAA category. We all know that the scholarships are available at the next level, which is incredible because all those weird days. It's raining and your parents are telling you, or even if it's not, even if it's sunny, and you're in there playing video games, and your parents are saying, "Get outside. You're never going to do anything with video games." Well, that's pretty much run by the wayside because these kids are getting paid in scholarships.
They get a lot of money though when there's tournaments, don't they?
They're giving full rides. Oh yeah, and $2 million getting sponsored. All of this stuff. Is esports the wave of the future? Is this something that you look at, and no matter how you looked at it before, is this something you look at and you go, okay, it's legit? Scotty, we're going to start with you.
I think it definitely is, DJ. If you would ask me this question 5-6 years ago, I would say, sports esports and video games, video games are for kids and this and that. But the more I talk to about people that play video games now in sports games, I know people that play video games and they still love them and they're 40 years old. So I think they definitely, I've even seen some of the Madden tournaments televised on TV and the grand prize those players get. So I think for sure it's legit. And with COVID and everything that's gone on, DJ, I do think we'll probably get back to more of a sense of normalcy in 2021. But that doesn't mean that sports and crowds at games, that it's ever going to be totally the same again. I think social distancing will become more of a normal thing. So I could see esports making an even bigger jump to as far as being relative.
I think what's funny is esports is corona proof. You know what I mean? It's absolutely corona proof, and no matter what, sickness, virus, whatever you want to call it.
I don't see how it's not going to make a jump.
Yeah, you look at it. I mean, people are quarantined. I know if I was ever quarantined, the number one thing I would be doing is playing video games, watching movies, but playing video games. Movies to me are like when I'm just mentally exhausted. Like I don't.
You never got to be quarantined, did you?
I didn't. And I don't see that as a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things where like we were quarantined, like everybody was taking precaution, and we were not going to lose our business. So I just kept on chugging along. But movies to me are one of those things where you can just fall asleep. You don't have to do much. You just focus on the screen, and that's it. There's not a whole lot of thinking. Video games, you are active with your mind, active with your hand-eye coordination, because there's so many buttons on that controller now, and everything does different things. Then there's combo buttons that do even more things. So there's a skill to it for certain. And esports, to me, being corona-proof, has, like you said, Dave, if it hasn't made that jump, it's about to.
And as a fan, I'm not a gamer.
Right.
I'm gonna have to catch up though. But watching you play that college football game, that was entertainment.
Yeah.
I could do that. I went to my friend's house and he had a new NBA game on, and I thought he was actually watching a basketball game. So I
really?
Sat down and I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "I can watch it." So.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Quinn, what's your take on esports? We get enough done in the HQ.
Yeah.
Bowling Green Falcons.
I'm nowhere near the level of those guys at all. But
Richie?
Yeah. He's ruined our dynasty, but didn't recruit, so.
Thanks, Richie.
Yeah.
You won.
Ruined our dynasty.
We were rated, 9th at the end of the year,
He
but we
kept
had
winning, but
no recruits
no
coming
recruits, Yeah. Killed the dynasty.
So Richie.
So Richie.
I mean, I don't see it being a problem, I guess. Why not? There's money to be involved in it, so I don't see
How's
why
your
not.
gaming skills?
Well, that's another thing I was gonna touch on, DJ. I think part of the reason I fell out of gaming and things like that, part of the reason it just had to do with even on the football games and stuff like that, NBA, whatever you want to throw out there, they would get more complex with the controls, and I don't have great dexterity, like the use of my hands. My fine motor skills have never been that great, especially on my left side. But I don't know if you've seen it, but PlayStation, or not PlayStation, I think it's Xbox. I can't remember. It might be PlayStation. One of those systems came out with adaptive equipment for people with disabilities, and it's only like they use one or two buttons, and they could play the game like a person without a disability would be able to play it and be just as successful. They're pretty expensive. Like,
really,
it's a lot of money. But I did see that with the Xbox, so that's definitely something. If I did get back into gaming, I would use that equipment. For the people out there that are in a wheelchair or have some sort of disability, don't think that you can't play the games and have a great time and be successful.
Let me ask you this. This is because this question popped up in my head when I asked you the first one. What would be the best school to bring in esports as an opportunity for their kids? We know a lot of these schools. We got a lot of them on the wall. When you look at those schools, where do you think is the perfect fit for a program like esports? Anybody? Springfield? Why?
That's where all the rich kids live.
Oh, jeez.
They all have the computers, right?
I don't know about that. Mooney and Ursuline are up there too.
I mean, if you're looking at, and not necessarily out of need, but if you're looking at a program or a district that needs like that flame, that torch passed on. I mean, is a school like East Palestine? Is a school like Latonia? That is struggling. We talked about they're struggling for numbers right now. Is that a school that could use something like this to boost their numbers, to bring a little bit of...
So you know what, the rich getting richer, you want to bring a school that...
Yeah, well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, that's a bad adage, the rich getting richer. It could be something where, like, opportunities. You know what I mean?
Is there a school doing it? Isn't, like, Salem doing it or something?
I don't know.
Isn't somebody doing it?
I know that
somebody was doing it.
There's one out there. I don't know if I'm allowed to release it yet, but let's just put it this way. It's out of the two schools I just mentioned, one of them is going to be doing it. So, and I think they're leading by example. I think it's not out of necessity. It's out of opportunity, because with the world of open enrollment, guys, if you look at this, not every kid is cut out to be a starting tailback or a starting quarterback or a starting point guard or a starting pitcher. They look at this and they go, my kid can get a scholarship playing esports if this school has a program for it. And
I can't see it not being the way of the future,
Yeah.
actually.
there's just too much going in that direction,
Right.
from being able to create games to being able to play them.
And it was already kind of growing before this even happened. So
Yeah.
Live-
Like a technical school doing it.
Like ITT Tech?
No,
Or they're not even
like-
here anymore. I don't
Sure.
think.
Like the technical center or whatever, like the
CCTC,
the CCC, whatever.
So they
all
would
the
put out
C's and
their
a T.
they would put out their own
I
team.
could see somebody like
I
that
could see
doing
that.
it. I mean,
But
figure
I
they're-
think that
those are specific schools.
But I feel like the schools are actually getting more technical as well. Like I feel like I've heard shop class coming back. I've heard what did they use?
Canfield has wood shop still.
What the heck did they used to call it? Tech prep is what we used to call it in school. Where
Canfield had, when I was in school, Canfield had wood tech. They had a computer class,
Yeah.
some type of computer technology,
So we had-
like AutoCAD and all that stuff.
CAD, that's what it
Design
was.
class.
Yeah,
It's like a
we
design
had
class.
AutoCAD too. I was in an AutoCAD class.
That is the
robotics and all
that's
that
the
stuff.
one class that if I had to go back and actually pay attention to, I would do it.
Oh, it was awesome.
because the
The
technology
only
is there.
technical skill I have that separates me from the younger generation is I can drive stick,
Oh,
and that's it.
I'm toast.
I can too.
Yeah.
Is your Mustang
It's
stick?
like the only technical skill I have that gives me a little bit of an advantage over the younger generation.
I mean, Scotty can. He's got a little bit of a stick shift there.
We're also thinking if they had tournaments, they would probably have their like a tournament for disabled. They wouldn't.
I would think,
Right?
honestly, like I would still cut it up versus gender and ability. You know what I mean? Like almost like they do in wrestling, because it's not
You can still
fair.
dominate.
Yeah, I think you could be all right. I really do.
Yeah, it's something like
I've seen the stuff Scotty's talking about.
I just,
Oh, I have too.
I've seen it.
I just don't know, like, as far as, like, I haven't kept up on it to the point where, like, I don't know the route to go for me to, like, if I started playing esports.
It's a long road because there's so many people ahead right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's one of those things where it is a long road, but
I have to shelf the skydiving.
just
Esports.
If you're an administrator of a school, like you are the guy, right? You're making decisions, you're making suggestions, and you're stamping the approval. Are you bringing esports into your school?
I would. I think especially too when there's if it was more. I'm looking for the right word, I guess. If it was just more relevant, I don't know if that's the best word to want to describe it, but if it was, it seems like it's become even more of a mainstream thing over these last couple of years. DJ, if it was something that was even more like out there when I was going to school, it's something I definitely would be all about, because there was days when I was in high school I would get down because not being able to play football, baseball, basketball, whatever, but if I had that way to really kind of prove myself, I think that would be something that would be the payoff in the end. I think putting the time in, it definitely be worth it for me.
What would be the argument, Dave, for you as an administrator of a school to bring in esports when someone says it's just video games?
Well, look at the student body. I'm saying 80% are already playing and we're discussing them at school. So just bring them in would just be the next step. That's what the kids want, probably.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Do you think this could be an attractor in the world of open enrollment? Do you think that this could bring
I'm excited
kids?
for this. This is like the first discussion I've had on this, the future of esports.
There's a lot to it. I mean, there's a
They were
lot
showing
of pieces.
stuff during the quarantine, and I watched drone racing, for God's sake.
And you,
Super Dave's hurting for sports right now.
well, that's another thing, DJ. Is I feel like you learn a lot playing a lot of these video games now. Like, it's not just, it's not like when I'm trying to think my dad's generation. I think he had like Pong came out in the early 80s, and like Turbo. Those games were, in a lot of ways, I think they were very simplistic.
I had Pong.
Pitfall. Do you remember Pitfall?
I think I heard of Pitfall, yeah.
Pitfall was just jumping over stuff and swinging from limbs.
Pitfall.
Early Donkey Kong at that point.
Yeah, what else? I mean, there was a lot of them. I guess that leads us to another question. And
I
Quinn,
played a lot of Frogger in high school, I remember.
Frogger's a good, because there's a lot of hand-eye coordination to that. Quinn, I don't want to skip over you, but I think we've heard your answer before on other programs about, the future of esports. My question to all three of you is, if there was an esports team and you had to be the captain, what game would you be playing? What game is your game that you'd have to take it to the house? Like, you'd have to champion. Quinn, we'll start with you.
Probably Madden.
Just whatever, just the franchise?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm getting specific, it'd be Madden 04.
04?
04.
He's throwing it way back.
Hell yeah, give me Michael Vick. Not going to beat me.
04.
Mike Vick and Madden 04, you're not going to beat me.
Oh my gosh. But what if they're playing Mike Vick and Madden 04 and you are The Atlanta Falcons as well.
Who gets ball first? If I win the toss, I win the game. It's that simple.
All right, Scotty, what game do you think you could take?
I think for me, as much as I love Madden, and I do love Madden, but I was a little better at college football. So for
Okay.
me, it would be NCAA football 2005. I think Carson Palmer
Okay.
is on
04.
the
04.
Is that 04?
Yep. 05
Yeah.
had Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay.
So we got a couple 04s here, man. You guys are throwing it way
That's
back.
back when video games were good.
Oh my
They were
gosh!
just good.
What are you talking
Everything
about?
was good about it.
Yeah,
What were
I'm
you,
going
7 in
even further
04?
back than that.
Oh, I
NBA Jam 98.
oh wow!
Sean Kemp.
Love it.
Take 'em.
The Rain Man.
Love it.
And
I played
is that
that.
Peyton too?
That's legit.
Is that Gary and?
That's the one I had. I used
Yeah.
to play that all the time.
Would have been Gary Payton and Kemp.
Listen, I can't tell you. I tried so hard to get 2 arcades in here, and Brian put the kibosh on that real quick. I tried to get NBA Jam and what is it? Is it Golden Tee Golf?
Yeah.
I tried to get those
The
two.
little
Yep,
ball
with
thing,
the
Yeah.
knobs,
Come on,
arcade
Brian.
style. He said, "No way, no way." So we have a little deal in place that I think we'll be able to have it by Christmas. But
Well, just because of the money, or
No,
was it just that?
I'll paraphrase and
Brian's
tell
being a
it.
fun sucker.
Yeah, I'll paraphrase what how the conversation went. But basically, Brian said, we have enough idiots in there at the time being. We don't need any more. And I said, sometimes that's a good point. You know, it's because Quinn literally would he
Golden
does
Tee
very
was
he
legit.
does very little now.
Loved Golden Tee.
I can't imagine what he wouldn't do if we had Golden Tee Golf in here.
Golden Tee was awesome.
Would you do any work?
Yeah, I'd get some work done.
No, you wouldn't.
I would get some
You
done.
just-
I'd get the same amount of work done.
You
It'd
would just-
it'd be more efficient so I could play more.
He uses golf time
Yeah.
thinking.
And then you would make him. He would just slowly become the best window washer.
Absolutely.
That's
Just
it.
get
The window
even
washer.
Better at that.
That would be good. Our
Even
windows
those old
are.
football games at table ones. They used to spin the ball.
Oh yeah.
I remember those.
Pizza parlors all the
What
time.
was it's I forget the name of it, but it was like old school. You see them in like pizza restaurants now.
Yeah.
It's like shuffleboard, but it's like
And it would bounce back to you.
y-
what
yeah,
you're talking about,
it's
yeah.
like a metal puck almost, and you have to set it up almost like
was
bowling.
It called
It was
air
bowling. It was like
hockey?
bowling.
No, it's not air hockey.
It's
It's
not
similar.
long.
It's really it's really thin and
Country,
long.
the Youngstown Country Club has one
Yes.
of those.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to play it.
I don't either,
Yeah.
but it reminds me of shuffleboard, and there's like sand on it. You know what I mean? You got to put sand. So that would be a cool game but it's not esports. I know we're completely off the reservation
They'll
now,
bring
but
a tetherball pole and then
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of ideas.
Tetherball.
There's a lot of ideas that have made their way through these four walls, guys, and a lot of them
Clear
have
out
been
the studio
rejected.
for tetherball.
If it's not for Brian Scott, we're having a lot of trouble here at YSN. There's a lot of cause for concern with some of the ideas I come up with. Brian's kind of the guy that shuts him down because he goes, "You're an idiot." that is not that
throwing them out there though.
should. Hey man, shoot your shot, right? It's one of those things like. Hey, Brian, did you see at Walmart they have arcades? Yeah, I saw it. No. Okay. Usually he and my wife are on the same page. If I can't get it at home, I probably can't get it here. I thought it was going to be the other way around when I started a sports, exciting thing where we basically live in a man cave when we go to work. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Brian basically says no. He's like, you got couches, you got 3 TVs. Make use of them. Okay. Yes, sir.
This place would just turn into a big hangout.
Oh, it would be a frat. It'd be a frat party all day. Betos would live here. I'm 90% sure.
Oh,
We'd have horror stories
I'm
like
surprised he hasn't moved in yet.
it's coming. I feel like it's coming. He's gonna be like, Prith, what do you think about me just moving in here? Like that's Betos.
Thank
So
God you sold the mattresses.
thank God. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get rid of them, and now people are calling for it. I mean, that's neither here nor there, but ridiculous. We don't have any more mattresses, folks. We are completely a sports company now. Sorry about
Got
your luck.
sunglasses though. Got sunglasses.
Stop it.
do.
Stop.
I'm trying to help you get a lawnmower.
We are. That's under the radar, dude. We are going to be going on to, in our next segment, to the Cleveland Baseball Club. This is one that Scotty and Dave, I'm interested to get your take on because this is one that we wanted to talk about last week, didn't have time to, but I think there's some kind of arguments on either side for if they should keep the colors no matter what their mascot and logo is. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. We want to hear from you as well. YSN hotline 330-886-0813. We'll be back after this on Running Point.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Stay in the showers. I'm keeping my eye on in parts of Columbiana County.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself, like I'm living the dream. Platform shoes, strut down the street. It's gonna get hot in here, I hope you can handle the heat.
Over the years, you watched us grow, and as we've grown, so has the Myers Family Insurance team.
Thanks to all of you who have trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now. For years to come, so call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 1 o'clock hour here on Running Point. That means, well, we're just going to incorporate this. We're going to get to your Storm Tracker 21 official weather update. Today, mostly sunny, turning to partly cloudy, 88 degrees is your high around 4 o'clock today. Looks like some good weather for some baseball and softball tonight. And tonight on the network, guys, we have a lot of baseball, a lot of game threes. Across the board, 14U, it's the Astros leading Whiting, 2-0, looking for the championship tonight. Then you have 16U, Steve Leslie and his band of brothers, the Astro Falcons, with a 2-0 lead over Nightline, and it's Creekside with the upsets last night. Ben on a mission. Sorry, I'm trying to swallow the rest of the chips that Quinn brought in earlier from Chipotle. So you've got 2-0 lead for Creekside over the Astro Falcons, which I don't think anybody saw coming. And I think Creekside probably, and their immediate fans, the only ones that believed that they would have a 2-0 lead in an elimination game, an opportunity 3 times to put away the powerful Astro Falcons in 18U. So a lot of interest on the scene side tonight. I will have the 10U championship in Boardman. The ladies going at it. We had the 12U last night. Congratulations to Signature Granite on their 14-1 victory and taking the 12U title. And tonight we crown a 10U champion at the Field of Dreams in Boardman. Exciting. That place is just so beautiful. Like the grass is cut perfect all the time. Boardman is so lucky. You know, with what they had, the leaders that they had to go in on that. What a great facility. And we are so spoiled with baseball and softball here that we don't even know it. You know, it's one of those kids, I feel like we don't know what mom and dad had to go through in order to get the life that we have. Well, we're living it right now with Scene Park, with the 3 beautiful fields and the facility we have in Struthers and also at the Field of Dreams. So hats off to all the people involved and all the people, the administration for the upkeep, and also a thank you for allowing YSN to be a part of it. It's truly an honor and a privilege, and we hope that we never wear out our welcome. Guys, on to Cleveland Baseball Club. We're going to talk a little bit about the updates in Major League Baseball a little later, but this is one thing we wanted to discuss last week. With all the hubbub of, you know, the Indians may not be the Indians anymore, they might be the Spiders, and the guy, I'm still pointing to you as the guy that started all this, Scotty. It's 3 months ago you mentioned the Cleveland Spiders might be an interesting comeback story, and you might be okay with having that be. If Cleveland, we'll call them the Cleveland Baseball Club, CBC, if they had to change their mascot, no matter what it is, because we don't care at this point, would they keep their colors, and should they keep their colors? Scotty, since it's your topic, let's start with you, big boy.
I think they would keep their colors, DJ. I just feel like they feel that there would be a lot of good history with the colors. Now, most of it does go back to the 90s, I grant you, but I think still even before the 90s, they just had plenty of big name and popular players like Sam McDowell, Rocky Colavito. I think
Sam McDowell, nice.
You look at the history. They had the first player manager in Frank Robinson too. So I think they would want to keep the colors, and I think they will keep the colors. In my opinion,
comes.
I think they should totally scrap the colors.
Hit the nuke button, Scotty.
Totally. I just hit the nuke button. It's blown up now, DJ. I mean, to me, they won 2 World Series the past 100 years. It's the 100-year anniversary of their World Series in 1920. So I think you've only won 2 World Series the past 100 years. It's time to totally blow it up here. A lot of people say it's the curse of Rocky Colavito. Maybe it is the curse of Chief Wahoo. But I think if it was me, I'd totally scrap it. Everything new, fresh start.
All right, so you know the next question. What are the colors going to be if it's Scotty's call?
If it's my call, I'm down to 2 different color combos, DJ. I think black, people think I'm like kind of cynical because of this, and you do too, because you said I smile too much. You're a little suspicious about me being a serial killer. But I just think black looks great on so many different color combos and uniforms. So I either go black and red, like my hometown Camel Memorial Red Devils, or I really like black and orange, Halloween type-ish color combo.
Are there any black and orange teams right now? Well, the Orioles. What about black and red? Giants. That's a good one. What black and red? I'm trying to. The Diamondbacks don't even have a color. They've got so many colors. They don't have a color.
I love black and red.
They used to be purple and whatever color that is.
That ugly blue.
Especially if we would call the spiders.
Black and red would make sense.
For
the spiders. Black and orange, though. I don't think they'd be able to get away with black and orange because the Orioles are so close. I think black and red because I'm having a hard time thinking of a team other than the Reds.
And the White Sox got the lock on the black and white. And
Yep.
Black and gray.
So, and you wouldn't have that in the same division at all. So,
You could ask them to change their color. White Sox.
yeah, like white and silver. Like they're not allowed to use black.
I think keep the White Sox are okay.
Which they don't even have White Sox anymore. They're all
white
black
Sox and they're all black. Their
So-
logo's black. I don't get it.
So I'm with you, Scotty, a little bit. I've got a different color scheme that I'm going to bring up. I want to see if anybody else brings it up. Dave, your thoughts on the color scheme? Should we throw it out the door?
Depends which direction you want to go. If you want to go the commerce route, you change the color so you can sell all new paraphernalia. I mean,
the businessman.
It's going to be like 10, 15 years before actual Indians stuff exits the ballpark.
Yep.
Because if you're still red and blue, I mean, I'm wearing my Indians. I'm
Yep.
wearing my Tommy jersey.
Yep.
My Chief Wahoo hat to the game.
That's it.
So changing the color. But you could also look at it this way. You want to be loyal to the fans. And you say, well, we don't want them to have to go out and buy all new stuff. You know?
Yeah, okay.
That rarely happens.
I've never heard of that. Never. All right, so if you have to choose, what's the new color combo for the Cleveland Baseball Club?
I like black and red. Not too heavy on the red though. Maybe like shadows red.
Okay.
Black, white, and red.
So you're all about that. You're all in on black with just a little bit of red trim.
I like black.
Okay. All right, Quinn, you are up. Well, what's your thoughts on changing colors, and what colors would you choose?
I mean, if they're gonna change everything, you gotta get new colors. You have to. I think it's kind of like when the Browns left for Baltimore, everything stayed in Cleveland. It was that sort of setup. So naturally, like Dave said, they're gonna stay blue and red. Everybody's gonna stay the Indians fans. Like, you're not gonna change it. I mean, you're gonna have those guys that I'm sure Dave would agree that there's still guys that call it progressive. They call it Jacobs Field still.
Oh, I'm one of them.
So naturally, like, all that's gonna stay unless you change everything and scrap it. So with that being said, I would scrap it, and I would. I don't know what to go to. I mean,
He's gonna say he's from Canfield and went to YSU. He's gonna say red and black.
No, I'm not, because I don't like red and black. I mean,
be careful.
Listen, I don't. And unless you're the Spiders, then I can understand it, because then like Black Widow and all that stuff's black and red, and I get it. But to go if they go black and red, you got to go heavy on red. As much as you don't want to do that in summer in the sun, black just not good.
No.
Not good.
Let me tell you a story about a team in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, all black, not good.
Gray and red.
I'm all in on. I like the black idea. Instead of red, I would go gold. I'm a big black and gold guy. And then you're going to look like the Pirates, but that's okay.
No, you can't have black and gold.
I like black
Cleveland.
And gold. I like black and gold. I think it looks good.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Vegas Golden Knights.
Can you imagine?
Vegas Golden Knights.
Can you
Scarlet and gray,
imagine?
Yeah, or Scarlet. That's the real color.
Stop.
I'd go Scarlet.
Stop. You just stole my thunder right there.
I mean, it just.
Then you should
very,
say scarlet.
Well, it's not even gray.
But you said black.
Because Ohio State's not gray. They're silver. They're not gray. It's silver. Their helmet's very bright silver. But I like gold. Black and gold. I'm telling you, black
So
and
you
gold.
like the scarlet and gray.
Black and gold's the way to go, and don't you dare say that Pittsburgh is gold because they're not. They're yellow. That's yellow.
The Saints.
It is yellow.
It's yellow.
All of you guys can scrap it.
It's yellow.
Stop it.
The Steelers are not gold. That's yellow.
No, they're gold.
That's yellow.
Gold.
It's like you're
Yellow.
You're in yellow.
Saints are gold. That is yellow.
Notre Dame is gold.
Yeah, Notre Dame is
How
gold.
dare you bring
the
that
Saints
name
are
up
gold.
on this program?
The Steelers are
Wally's
yellow.
wearing a Florida State shirt.
Yeah. Is that Florida State yellow or is that gold?
Whatever I want it to be. How about that?
It's yellow.
It's gold.
You know it's yellow.
It's gold.
You know that's yellow.
It's
yellow.
Garnet and gold.
That's yellow. And the Steelers are yellow. That's where I'm going to leave that one.
Let me explain something.
And I get it. The Browns are brown and orange, and that's ugly as sin. I know.
No. The
Trust me,
Steelers.
I know.
They change their
Yeah.
colors.
They're
real well.
black and gold.
They're
Like
yellow.
gold is.
They get gold. That's yellow.
It's a division
I know you've seen it in
of
person.
yellow.
It's yellow.
Or vice versa. However way you want to cut
They
it out.
get it in actual gold because that's yellow.
Quinn.
That's pea yellow.
Okay, you're the guy that no matter what you said, black and gold.
Yeah.
For the
Actual
Cleveland
gold.
team,
Actual gold would look good.
they would have you in the middle of downtown Cleveland and throw rocks at you if you said that publicly, not on a YSN. You would be murdered.
I'm all in. But if they go spiders, black and red's the only logical option to me.
Everything you said before that point went beep as soon as you said Cleveland needs to be black and gold.
Wine and gold.
Yeah, black and gold. And actual gold.
Not
Would
happening.
look good.
Not happening.
It'll look good.
Oh, I have no doubt it would look good, but to have a Cleveland team be black and gold would be like being an atheist and going to church.
Who cares anyway? Not me.
I'm just saying.
It would look good though.
Yeah.
Black and gold
would,
would look good.
Would you wear, Scotty? Would you wear black and gold?
If you could wipe out my memory of all the
Scotty,
Steelers games I've seen,
I'm not
Scotty, you gotta remember though, the Steelers is yellow.
Maybe you guys can play Renegade during the 7th inning stretch too.
You're right. It is yellow. Quinn.
Yeah, it's
Let's-
yellow.
let's
It's
just
putrid
get that
yellow.
out there. But it's one
What are the three colors of the diamonds?
Yellow, red, blue.
The yellow's the same color.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I'll bet you $100 it's not.
For you to say that that's gold is a joke.
For you to say that any Cleveland team should be dressed in black and gold is a humongous
It's yellow.
joke.
Listen, nobody cares about baseball on my end. Everybody on this planet knows that I hate baseball.
Okay, this will be Quinn's last segment on the show, naturally.
Quite a declaration on a sports show.
Yeah,
True
that's
millennial.
dynamite drop it.
I don't like baseball. You all know it.
He's an idiot.
All right.
I'm not a big hockey fan.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, there's not many color combos you could go with though that are like that haven't been used.
Listen, you ready for this?
Get some pinstripes.
Here it is. It's charcoal and scarlet. That is where it's not scarlet and gray. It's
So-
charcoal and scarlet.
like the
So like when
Washington
Ohio
State
State
Cougars.
played Michigan.
Very similar.
Or that team.
It's when Ohio State played Michigan and they got those special jerseys with the dark gray number. Terrell Pryor year.
I think that would be sharp.
It'll
You
look
have the red bill, you have the the charcoal caps with even the C looks good
What's your next color though? You need an accent color, like black or
Silver.
white. Silver.
because it's light enough that you can have a couple different grays. You own your gray uniforms would be you do the gray pennies with the red.
That could look good.
Yeah,
I was
know.
locked into the Spider logo, and I had to go black, but
what's your
I like
team
that.
name though? In that
Doesn't matter. You could be the Cleveland Steamers, and that color scheme would still look amazing.
You need a different color scheme if you're that though.
No, because you could be a train, and you have the charcoal could be the smoke, the gray could be the train, or the silver could be the train, and then the red could be the accents.
I see what you
As
did there.
much as I'd like to think that would be my ideal when I think of the Cleveland Steamers,
You'd have
I
to use
would
a ship, though.
I would just see, to me Cleveland Steamers would just always make me laugh because I
Yeah,
think
like bird's eye steamer.
But listen, hear me out though. Hear me out from a marketing standpoint. Everybody laughs at first, but then all of a sudden you own, like when people think of Cleveland Steamer, they don't think of that necessarily anymore. They think of your team, because Cleveland
But we all
Steamers.
agree that they should change the colors, though.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
colors
100%.
Because here's the thing: is
and so many teams have gone with red, white, and blue. It's like, come
don't
on.
you watch your mouth? You watch your mouth because those are the greatest colors in the world.
I mean, I love America too, but it's like, come
Should've
on,
stayed with America.
you could get more creative.
I think they should stay with the colors, number one. But if they had to change, I think going with the different variations of gray and red, because the reds are already red, and you just have Ohio be that color,
We already had red. All we're doing is downgrading the black to gray a little bit. Which is
or the navy. You know what I mean? You take the navy, and all of a sudden, because you already have gray uniforms, so you're already wearing your color. So that's kind of where I'm.
So you flip it then? So you make red your primary color instead of the navy?
Does anybody have
No,
colors
it'd
like
be
Miami
gray.
and Florida, like green and orange?
Well,
Marlins.
that's a topic that is very interesting because somebody brought this up, and I don't think we ever went over it. Was how many cities / states have their own colors? Miami has been a multitude of colors. You know what I mean?
They've always had the stronghold on turquoise, though.
They do because that's
Or that
when
shade of green.
That's like Miami.
Kind of beachy.
Yeah, it's beachy. It's aquatic. It's very Don Johnson. It's very 80s. You know, when people think of Miami, that's when they think of it.
Miami Vice.
I think that, you know, when you think of Pittsburgh, really you think of Pennsylvania, you think of gold,
Yellow.
and you think of that either navy blue because the Pennsylvania colors are blue and gold, or you think of black and gold in Pittsburgh. I don't know that the Eagles, when they became that green, the various shades of green, I don't know that they made the right decision because they could have been blue and gold and had Pennsylvania on lockdown because when you look at a PA license plate, it's blue, white, and gold. So Ohio, I think, needs to take ownership over red. I really do. I think baseball.
the state color of Ohio is scarlet, though, isn't it?
Well, the cardinal is our state bird.
Yeah.
So just own red. I feel like if I were here's a fun game for us since we don't have a ton to talk about.
And I think we're officially a red state now.
List
Anyway.
of U.S. colors.
If I say a color, you tell me the first team that comes to mind. Okay?
The color scheme of Ohio is red, white, and blue.
And it should be. Because
Like
we are the
legitimately
heart.
red, white, and blue.
We are America's pocket.
Yes.
If you look at the state, I mean, you look at a map of the United States, we literally are like the pocket square.
Yeah,
We're right there. Or the heart, depending on which way you want.
symmetrical.
The heart of America. All right. I'm going to name a color. Very specific, and you're going to tell me the first team that comes to mind. Any sport, whatever. Ready? Navy blue. Anybody
Notre
can
Dame.
shout it out.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame?
I see Navy. I don't know. I would say Royals, but that's more like
Royal blue?
Yeah.
Come on,
So-
Scotty.
It's right in the name.
I
It's
guess,
right there.
I guess
go Navy.
Lowville. I don't know.
Who?
Lowville.
Louisville? Okay.
Yeah.
Either the Patriots or Notre Dame.
Yankees. That's where I was going.
I don't think that.
I think of the Yankees because I think of the hat, the navy, deep navy
He's also
hat.
a baseball guy, though. Like, it depends on what you are, I guess. Like, you're
I
probably not
think you're
associated with that.
Well, I think you're going to be
than I
surprised
would.
whenever some of the colors come out. Red.
Reds.
Well, I don't know. I just thought of the Patriots when you
Okay.
said that, the
Ohio State.
throwback.
Ohio State. Mine is the Capitals in hockey because they're always referred to as "Let's Go Red" or whatever the hell they talk about.
Red Wings.
Red Wings is a good one. All right, orange. This ought to be fun.
It's the Browns.
Browns.
Clemson. Unfortunately.
Wow, mine is. I think orange. Mine's the Orioles. First, when I close my eyes, first team I see is orange.
Yeah, that was
Orioles.
going. That pops my head first.
Gold.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I was thinking the Warriors as well.
Wait a minute. So
No,
that's
hey,
gold.
Pittsburgh is yellow.
No.
If Pittsburgh's gold. The Golden State Warriors are gold.
That-
They have gold in the name.
I'm fine with that, but you can't argue the other way.
That's
you
the
can't.
first one
You're
that popped in
wrong.
my head. I'm thinking back. It's like
It's yellow.
but it is Golden State.
Putrid yellow.
Goldberg. Pittsburgh.
Goldberg.
You wish your city was named Goldberg.
I wish in the worst way it was named Goldberg. You have no idea. Gold for me is, I don't think of Pittsburgh or Golden State. I actually think of Notre Dame. Or Vegas. Vegas, their jerseys are so awesome.
Yeah.
They're so awesome. But the fact that the Golden Domers come out, I mean, that's just the best. Let's go with purple.
Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings, boom.
Oh, Lakers.
Ooh, yeah.
Lakers. That's. Notice you didn't say gold for the Lakers.
Viking Jim's influence on us.
It's yellow.
Okay. What other? Look at this side. Royal blue. You can't say the Royals now because you said the Royals for navy blue, Scotty.
Yeah, I guess more would maybe be like the Chargers, but that's like powder blue.
Do we need an education on blue?
Yeah, I do need. I feel like
the color of the mic.
What
Scotty.
color is this?
What jersey is that?
That's Royal.
Okay.
Blue.
Who has a jersey that looks like this?
The Kansas City Royals.
All right. I think Scotty just associated every blue with the Royals.
Yeah, I'm having Jeff moments today.
Oh, low blow on JB.
Any blue for me is Kentucky.
I knew he was gonna go with Kentucky. I was gonna go Mets. For some reason, the Mets and the Dodgers come to mind when I think of this color.
That does look like the Mets a little bit.
It's interesting, right? We all think of it different. We associate
like
the different colors.
Blue and orange Mets.
I love it.
That's a
I got my Mike Piazza jersey.
Yeah, that's a good
my favorite hat is actually my black hat with the blue bill, with the blue Mets with the orange outline. It is.
Is that the NY logo?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. I'm a big Mets fan when it comes to their uniform and their colors because they do a lot with it. So we are up against a break. We're going to keep it going here for a little bit. We'll keep it going for MLB updates. Scotty, well, I guess all of you guys, your Cleveland Indians won 4-1, or are 4-1 and atop the AL Central. My beloved Pittsburgh Pirates 2-3, a big win last night. The bullpen didn't poop down their leg for once, and they are fourth in the NL Central. Cleveland Cleveland playing the White Sox tonight at 6:10, and then you have Pittsburgh taking on the Brewers once again at PNC Park tonight at 7:05. Check your local listings for that. Guys, what's the biggest thing you've learned about the Indians so far through 5 games?
Well, DJ, let me say this. I won't be on the Power Hour this week, but I plan to be on, hopefully make my first appearance in the future. And one of my favorite things you do is right at the end, it's what's your beef? And my beef is the Indians are finally, because the season started later, I think it's helped them a lot. The pitching's way ahead. Everyone's healthy. And now it looks like, who knows what's going to happen with the season. But I guess biggest thing I've learned, DJ, is pitching's still the name of the game. The Indians have gotten great pitching every outing, and they're 4-1. The only game they lost went in extra innings, and they just couldn't execute advancing a runner, and the Royals did. But that's the biggest thing I learned, again, is you could have all the mashers you want, and the White Sox have a great lineup, but so far the Indians pitching has held them down.
All right, Dave, what's your thoughts on the Tribe so far?
Over under 800 Ks this season for the Indians pitching staff.
Wow.
They're at 40 in 3 games.
I'm going to take under. I'm going to take way under.
That means they're going to average like 14 and a half strikeouts per game as a staff. That's my prediction.
The hitting's going to come around.
And despite what Ron Podesta says,
Oh,
Lindor
here
is
it is.
not overrated.
And
He is phenomenal. You see the play he made in the field the other night?
You beat me to the punch.
Oh.
You beat me to the punch.
I've actually angry faced that comment.
You did. I saw that.
Wait,
Brick killed a guy.
He thinks Francisco
He said he's the
Lindor
most
is
overrated player, and when he folds, and I'm like, you kidding me?
Folds
But
like a lawn chair.
he also loves Colin Sexton. Are you
garbage.
Here's we're not even going to ask you about the Indians, Quinn, because we know you just don't
I watched
care.
the baseball game for once.
No, you didn't.
I did on Sunday. I watched a baseball game while I was running a site for AU. I watched the baseball game.
And what did you think?
Their pitching is great. The starters are really good.
Yeah, they got Bieber going tonight again, don't they?
Yeah.
The
Starting
police
pitching's
act
really
is
well.
tonight, Beavers tomorrow.
So here's my question to you. Ron came out and said, now this is nearly just a week after we had the conversation, and said, we don't feel that Frankie Lindor should leave the leadoff position in the lineup because he hit 8 home runs last year, right, from the leadoff spot in a game. They move him down to third, and then all of a sudden Ron has all kinds of beef with Frankie Lindor because he's a .212 hitter with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Listen, sabermetrics, there's a number for everything, right? If you're in a situation where you put Frankie Lindor back at the top of the lineup and he can make an instant offense splash for you, you do it. You never can count on, because you're losing at bats.
He hit a first inning home run last night with Santana.
So I get it. It happens. And you roll the dice. But why take him? He's a perennial all-star and in the MVP race. Why move him down to third? And especially why move him down to third if you're just going to cut into him a week into the season?
I don't think it's as much.
Who's leading off Hernandez?
That's the point I was getting to. I think Cesar Hernandez, DJ, for a leadoff hitter is a very good. He fits as far as all the boxes checked. He fills a lot of those boxes you want.
Is he instant offense?
I think if he gets on base.
Whoa. Mm-hmm. Instant offense is not just getting on base. Instant offense is you get on base, but instant offense is also you can round the bases. Because to me, you want your guy, the best hitter you have in the lineup, to get the most at-bats. And this is a softball thing, right? This is a beer league softball rule that you figure out and you go, I want my best hitter to be at the top of my lineup because I want him to have the most opportunities. Or her, if you're talking about girls softball.
Top 3 usually get the same amount of at-bats, don't they?
You're guaranteed if you're number 1 to get the most amount of at-bats.
I like Lindor as leading off.
I do too.
I love him.
If he was on the Pirates, I would love for him to be our leadoff hitter.
But he's got power, so I could see the justification.
Everybody drools over the 3 spot. You know where that came from? Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah, you have a 3 hitter that is. It's like being, to me, it's the same as being announced last in the starting lineup for basketball. Like, you're the guy if you're batting third in a baseball lineup. However, it's not like that anymore. I would rather have more at-bats, more opportunity. I don't care if there's anybody on base or not. That's less pressure. You know what I mean? Less RBIs a lot of times, but that's only once a game. So if you start off the game with a bomb, your team already has a distinct advantage of winning that game.
With our pitching staff, that's huge.
So you look at that, and
I think Babe Ruth batted third right before Lou Gehrig.
Did he?
That's why he was number 3.
It's out there. We can check it.
That's why he was number 3.
What? Because they batted in order of their jersey number? No.
I believe that might be true.
It is.
You think?
100%. That's
You
why
don't
Gehrig
know
was
jack about baseball.
I
but
know
you,
trivia more than it's trivia.
I like it.
Dead serious. The Yankees got their numbers by that number.
So who's 7? Gehrig?
Gehrig was 4.
Mickey Mantle was
7 was Mickey. So Mickey Mantle batted 7th in the lineup.
I don't know if it
No,
carried over
all
that
those
far.
numbers were
but-
retired by the time he got there,
Yeah.
so the next available
Back in
one.
that time, they got their number by that. DiMaggio was what, 5, I think?
Is this just a Yankee thing?
I think so, yeah.
That's great.
I know the Yankees did.
We're going to Google that.
Billy Martin was number 1, so he must be the
We're going to Google that at the break. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, the legend of the ladies' leagues, it is Anthony Hartwig will make his appearance, and we will talk to Anthony about some of the things we've already talked about. We'll also talk about the Marlins and their positive corona test. Is it time to pull the plug on the Miami Marlins? We'll find out all that and more coming up on Running Point right here on YSN.
They say American craftsmanship is making a comeback. Of course, at Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, it never went away.
People are floored by Baird Brothers' authentic hardwood floors.
They stare at our stairs and adore our doors. Baird Brothers reflects 3 generations of family craftsmanship. Visit our huge in-stock selection in person or at BairdBrothers.com.
Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Running Point. DJ Yoakley with you. Across the table joining us right now, it is the legend of the ladies' leagues. It is Mr. Anthony Hartwig throwing up the G's.
I'm feeling like King Felix right now.
Oh, is that what you're feeling like? You got that side?
You got the side brim, you know?
What are you doing? This isn't Halloween.
I'm feeling it.
Dressed up like Joey Corbs.
Right?
It's better. Yeah, incredible.
Well, King Felix isn't playing this year.
No, he's in the Braves organization.
Yeah, I can't
he's
believe
in the Braves organization, I believe, but he's not playing.
That's tough to think about, that he hasn't been good enough to make it in the Braves
He went
organization.
like 1-8 last year with like an ERA of 5. I mean, he was not King Felix anymore. He had his couple years in his prime where he was locked out, but then the wheels fell off really quick. Well, he's in the Braves organization on a minor league contract, so I don't know. I mean,
But is he done? Like,
I think so. I don't think there's anywhere to go in the Braves organization. I don't think they're going to bring him up for anything.
no, there's too many. I mean, there might be like a one start for, depending on how the season goes for him.
I think he's going to be that AAA guy that you keep in case you need someone, a veteran leader, to come out and sustain the team or something.
There's
like
no minor league baseball, so we'll never see him again.
Yeah, I know.
He could be maybe like a number 5 starter.
Right.
But
Or like a number 17. If you go 1-8 for the Mariners. Yeah, I mean, Cologne. Big Sexy's doing it somewhere else. I saw he's lacing them up
in the
again.
Mexican
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's crazy how fast the MLB career can really tail on you. I mean, the Royals had Alcides Escobar. He was the ALCS MVP.
Right.
In 2015, he's playing in Japan.
No one dropped off like Albert Bell.
Right? I mean,
Watch it.
It can really, the wheels can come off real quick.
That's my hero, Albert Bell.
Remember, I didn't watch as much National League ball, but even Eric Hosmer for a while.
He's playing for the Padres.
Yeah, and his numbers they weren't like, he wasn't making the impact he was with the Royals.
He didn't give the Padres what they thought he was going to give them when they gave him the money that they gave him. But he did have 6 RBIs on opening day, so props to Oz.
Interesting. You still loving those Royals, those championship Royals, wherever they go.
They brought a ship, so Moose, he's in Cincinnati now. Hopefully he does some good things.
Hopefully he doesn't. What?
Amos
Goes to
Otis.
Amos Otis.
Hopefully Moose doesn't do many things.
Right.
They're in my division.
He was in the Brewers last year, and I think he hurt you guys pretty much a lot because he had a good year for the Brewers.
Be honest, Anthony.
Sorry, that was loud.
Did you think after 2014 when they lost in Game 7 to the Giants with a runner on third base, did you think they were going to come back and win it in 15?
They had all the pieces coming back, and I knew that they were under contract until 16, so I thought we had a chance. I didn't think we were going to go 1 seed in the AL and then just sweep through the season.
I was surprised
like
when they came back the next year and won it.
But the Indians almost did it. I mean, they lost in Game 7 really close, and I thought, well, the Indians can just do what the Royals did and use that as motivation and come back in 17, and they looked like they were going to. I mean, that season they had in 17, regular season wise, it was legit. What?
Sounds like you were putting down the Indians a little bit more than you were building.
No. The Indians, it's hard to win a World Series, but they had that same gas where I think they looked at the Royals in 15 and said, a team not too long ago lost in Game 7 and used that as hunger for the next season. There's no reason we can't do that too. And they had a really good season in 17. They looked like they were a World Series favorite, and unfortunately in the playoffs
the Royals did,
it's and especially because they did it in unconventional ways. They didn't hit home runs,
clutch hitting,
and they just kept the line moving.
We're going to move on to stuff that's happened in the last 5 years because this isn't Breaking Batch. So this is
sorry, Coach.
Interesting enough. I'm trying to get. And I don't know if any of you guys have insight on this. Quinn dropped a bomb on us before he left with the whole numbers thing in the Yankees. I don't see anything about it. In 1929, the New York Yankees were planning to start the season with uniform numbers on the back of their jersey. The Indians also planned to wear numbers in this fashion. The Yankees were rained out on opening day, April 16th, and the Indians played, making Cleveland the first MLB franchise to wear numbers on the back.
Wow. Well, I can't confirm what Quinn said, but I've definitely heard it before, and I think that's the reason why, if you look at the retired Yankees numbers 1 through 9.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
Or is it almost 1 through 9?
Number 2 had never been retired until Derek Jeter.
Well,
so number 2 must have really sucked.
Now it's 1 through 9.
Why, just because he didn't make the Hall of Fame, he sucked?
Well, I'm just saying. At some point, they just didn't look at him and say, hey, we're going to retire 2 because you were the first to ever wear it, or you were that good. 3 through 9 would have been retired at some point because 1 was Billy Martin. And there was also, I believe, number 1 is retired twice. Someone else has worn it, and I'll look it up to validate that.
Bobby Mercer.
Bobby Mercer?
Well, there you go.
Yankees number
1.
But
I do think that they wore the numbers they wore in the lineup just 1 through 9 when that started.
Makes sense.
I don't
feel like
think
I've
so.
heard it before.
I
You
don't
couldn't change your
so.
lineup, though. You're locked in.
Right?
Yeah.
You just changed the jersey. You're wearing number 9 today. Other 9 isn't in the lineup, so you wear number 9.
Well, they have their names. I guess they just switch jerseys.
All right, so number 1 is Billy Martin. That's apparently the only one. Number 2 is Derek Jeter. Number 3 is Babe Ruth. Number 4 is Lou Gehrig. Number 5, Joe DiMaggio. Number 6, Joe Torre. So there was no number 6 until Joe Torre led them in the championships. 7's Mantle. 8's Berra. 8 is also, that 8 was the number. It was Bill Dickey.
Okay.
9 is Maris. 10 is Phil Rizzuto. And then you have 11, 12, 13, 14 still available. Thurman Munson was number 15, not to be confused with Paul Munson, who appears on the YSN Power Hour at 3 to 4. Number 16 is Whitey Ford. 17, 18, 19 still available. 20 is Jorge Posada. 23 is Don Mattingly. 32, Elston Howard. 37, Casey Stengel. 42, Mariano Rivera. And, of course, Jackie Robinson. 44, Reggie Jackson. 46, Andy Pettit. 49, help me with this one, Ron Guidry? Guidry, thank you. And number 51 is Bernie Williams. So when you look at this, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying, and it might be absolutely true, but I'm not buying it because that tells me that numbers 1, 2, 6, 8, and Maris was in the Ruth lineup, was he not? No, he wasn't. Maris was later.
Mantle, 60.
Okay. So
Mantle, Maris only played for the Yankees for a couple of years, though.
So you look at it, there's numbers in the lineup that just didn't happen. I think that the single-digit numbers were because they saved on fabric, quite honestly. Because
that could be very true.
Because that's the way they did it back then. The Steelers,
I think if I had told you this, you'd have been much more accepting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I wake up with 2 goals every day when the feet hit the floor. It's number 1, make sure YSN stays in business. Number 2, make sure Quinn says something stupid that I can disprove. And this was my opportunity. So and you hear him running from it. I just don't. There's nothing on it. You'd think there, in the world of the internet as it is right now, there'd be something out there that said, "This is legit."
Why was Babe Ruth number 3?
That's a good question. That is I phrased it as Yankee numbers, and they gave me everything, retired numbers. Interestingly enough, why is Babe Ruth number 3? It's probably going to say because he wanted to be. Babe Ruth. This segment sponsored by Google. Google for all the random questions that you need to know for your homework.
What did we ever do without Google? Like when these questions popped up back in the 80s, and you're just like,
It's
well,
that stupid. what the oh my gosh! It's the only time I'm ever going to be using. We had Ask Jeeves before Google. You also had what was the stupid thing? The Dewey Decimal System.
Oh.
Ask Andy's being the vindicator. You ask him questions.
Okay, here we go. And your answer is, while Ruth's number 3 is well known, the reason he wore it is not common knowledge. The Yankees and Indians debuted. Son of a bitch, there it is.
Woohoo! Got it there, Quinn.
It is Ruth wore 3 because he usually batted third. That does not mean, and this is from, and I probably shouldn't have said SOB, the Christian Science Monitor. No. You okay?
Nah, all that article
And people
says
can
is
see,
Babe
by the
Ruth
way.
wore number
Yeah,
3.
that's not
it doesn't
legit.
say the whole team numbered.
Other regular players were given numbers on the same basis, which is why the Yankee cleanup hitter Lou Gehrig wore number 4. Gehrig's number was the first retired by any major league team in 1939. So
I don't know why something that sounded pretty reasonable you would argue that vehemently against.
Because you don't have the leadoff hitter, the 2 hitter, the 6 hitter, or the 9 hitter essentially in that lineup that are good enough. So I would like to see.
Well, I mean, they could have been plenty good. They just weren't like Hall of Fame good. You know what I mean? That's very conceivable.
Just saying.
There are guys that are important to a championship that aren't necessarily Hall of Fame worthy.
Usually, when you have a team like the Yankees, where you retire the entire team, but they thought, you know what, our leadoff guy sucked. the guy batting second sucked. Ruth's in. 4 is in.
95 Indians, like Viagra wouldn't be retired, I don't think.
Did they win a championship?
They did not.
Okay.
It's all about championships, isn't it?
Just checking the box. I mean, when you win 25 championships or whatever the freaking Yankees won during that time period, yeah. I mean,
and they consider the 27 Yankees as the gold standard for lineups.
Really? I mean, that's
I'm taking the 95.
Apparently not so much.
Apparently not the leadoff guy. I mean, if Kenny Lofton wore number 1, maybe he was retired. But I mean, it's interesting to me. I didn't know that. It makes sense, but Quinn said it, so it didn't. Let's just put it all on the table, guys. Let's talk about the Marlins. What a mess! What a mess in Miami that they have caused. The Marlins 17 positive corona tests. That is over half of their entire roster.
What's crazy to me is like none of these guys tested positive during summer camp in Miami. They tested positive when they went to Philadelphia, which is just weird that they didn't have any positive tests until that road trip.
Which just tells me everything that I've already known has been confirmed, is Philadelphia is just dirty.
But then the Phillies have had no positive tests. They've had their second straight day with no positive tests. So they'll be set to go on Friday, I think, to restart their schedule.
I'll be interested.
So it's right now it's as good as that situation could have possibly gone because the Philadelphia didn't have their own outbreak. So you don't have 2 teams adversely affected. The Marlins.
But how do you make up those games?
I know. But at least the Phillies don't have to cancel a whole week and a half of games like the Marlins.
But you look at the Marlins. Marlins are in first place right now, as it stands. So they are not going to be in first place. The Corona Tour ends here. So when you look at it, guys, is this something where if it comes down to 2 games in the NL East or even making the playoffs, and the Phillies, as you talk about, are minus 2 games, what do you do? What do you do? Because you can't make those games up. The schedule is too tight nowadays, and do you just let it go? You have
16 teams. If you miss games, you're just out.
Yeah, and
I think that's one of the reasons why they expanded the playoffs because they knew that teams were going to be a little bit struggling if one of their roster spots went down or something like that. So they're like, let's give a little bit of a grace period to these teams.
At this point, I'm just hoping that the Pirates don't get any, and they stand up to the test of time. They don't get any Corona test, and they end up world champions because they don't have any
Last
Corona.
team standing.
Yeah, that's the way it's going to be. Like, this is, and the way it should be. Because, quite frankly, that's the only way this team is going to win a world championship as it stands right now.
Well, we found the key for the Pirates to win a pennant.
Yeah, everybody else gets Corona. like you're just looking around and everybody falling down.
There's a formula out there somewhere.
It's kind of like that. I don't remember the video or the TV show or movie it was on, but like everybody starts dropping around when you're holding the juice. Like everybody gets sick and you're just watching everybody go and you just dump it out. Like that's the Pirates. Like we're done, we're good, and they're the last person standing. They should win the title.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, Pittsburgh.
Never drink the Kool-Aid, Pittsburgh. Scotty, what's your take on the Marlins and how they should combat this? And if you were the MLB, how would you kind of handle a situation with the Miami Marlins?
I think what you do, I've heard Anthony talk quite a bit on the expanded rosters in the Major League Baseball and what Major League Baseball has instituted for this season. The only thing I could think of, DJ, as far as combating this goes, is you really, when it comes down to me, is to make up the games, you're gonna have to extend the season a little, even if that means that hurts the next season. So be it. You delay the start of next season to make sure you get these games in here. I think that would be a good way to go about it. Because I don't, like, what are they going to do if another team, like, if 2-3 teams start all up and down the roster, if they get infected with Corona, like, how's baseball gonna say we're moving forward? Because the commissioner didn't seem concerned at all in his interview on MLB.
Commissioner's
Network.
an idiot. I mean, that's just. I mean, he's a. Yeah, Ron started that ball moving for me, and then I watched that steroid documentary, and it just stamped it. Like, idiot. He is an a-hole. Doesn't like baseball. So when he sat there with A-Rod talking about how great it is and how all this stuff, and they're smiling ear to ear next, keep in mind that the commissioner acting right now was chasing A-Rod for an admission that he cheated and used steroids. Keep that in mind. Now, all that aside, these two idiots are at the top talking about how great the state is of baseball right now. Put that in context. Compartmentalize that.
How did A-Rod get such a free pass?
I don't know. I don't know.
They treat him like he's Ozzie Smith, like the most beloved player.
I don't get it. But Barry Bonds is trash anywhere you go.
That smile and A-Rod use that charm and.
I think it's because he's got J-Lo. I really do believe that.
It helped his profile.
Yeah, I feel like that's a boost on his resume.
He had like J-Lo, Cameron Diaz. He's had a lot of people.
A-Rod's got it all. Like, I think that's why a lot of people hated A-Rod in the first place, and then he got the money, then he got the girls, and then people just hated him because he had everything. Like, they hate him because they hate him. You know what I mean? One of those situations.
If memory serves me correctly, DJ, like, Bonds, from what I remember, he'd be a little bit kind of smug with the media at times. I don't think A-Rod, like, was ever really... I don't know, from what I've seen, he wasn't...
Well, he wasn't Albert Bell. He wasn't hitting Hannah Storm with his blazer, but, he wasn't exactly...
He felt so entitled. He was just
Yeah, I mean, Barry Bonds is the guy that you look at, and he wasn't Dennis Rodman, but he wasn't Michael Jordan. He was kind of somewhere in he really was Scottie Pippen.
And I
you know
think
what I mean?
To an extent, Bonds just kind of got sick of the questions.
Well,
and
he was
maybe mentally shut down a little
he
bit.
was a baseball pinata,
Right?
is what he was, because you looked at you look at all the people that use steroids, and Barry Bonds is the guy that gets circled. I'm sorry. Like, there's a lot
Clemens
of...
isn't liked very much either.
No, but that's for other reasons.
He's something.
Yeah, Clemens. I never saw Barry Bonds throw a baseball at somebody or a baseball bat at someone.
Oh, remember that?
I was so confused. That happened. I was like, what just happened? There was no lead up to it. It just happened, and that was in 2001, wasn't it? That was the Subway Series.
2000.
So
Giannis's reaction was priceless.
Oh yeah,
incredulous. How did this happen?
I don't get it. But I mean, two different things. You know, when we're talking about steroids, it's easy because you go, okay, you took steroids, you're out of the game for 80 games. What do you do with Corona? Like, if and baseball doesn't have a bubble, so to speak, right? But if you go against the rules and you go chase chicken wings like the NBA players do, you're putting baseball in a bad spot. You're not cheating the game, but are you? You know what I mean? Are you cheating the game because you're not able to allow your teammates and your opponents to play the game?
That's the thing you asked me, and the only thing I could think of, DJ, is just, kind of that extension to the season. I know Rob Manfred said they're not going to be playing it's going to be wrapped up. I think in the past they've gone into early November, but he said the plans are now it'll be wrapped up, I think, before maybe even Halloween, even if there's a Game 7. But I just don't know what they do with this whole thing. Anthony, I know you're a huge baseball fan too. We've talked quite a bit. I mean, what do you think? Do you think the season's gonna be toast?
The season, I don't think we're in that mode yet. I think in the memo that the commissioner has, he says that he can make the decision on if the competitive integrity of the game is, hurt, and then shut down the season based on that. That's such a broad statement and such one that's left to objective thinking is competitive integrity. I mean, can you say the Marlins can be competitive when they have 17 roster spots missing? Does that hurt the competitive integrity of the game if one team really can't go out and compete? I think if it happens to 2 or 3 more teams, then the commissioner might have to look at that and be like, is the competitive integrity of this game hurt because 3 or 4 teams just can't put together a competitive roster?
You know what would be the best thing for sports? If they found a vaccine and a cure for corona and it was steroids.
Oh!
That would just be the best.
That's like the biker with the blood disease that is cured by blood doping, so he has the medical right to do it.
Oh, you know what? Like that would
corona
be
is steroids. Why sports would be great.
That'd be unbelievable, and what a shot in the arm that would be for baseball.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right, your honest opinion in talking about corona. Who has, out of the 4 sports, major sports, who has the best chance to complete a season and why? So we're talking Major League Baseball, talking basketball, we're talking hockey, and we're talking football. Who has the best chance to complete a season given the current state of the world?
I'm thinking it's a league with the least amount of players on it, so I'm ruling out football and baseball right away.
Okay.
It's going to be a hockey or basketball because there's only how many players on each team. I'm going basketball.
Really?
Yeah. I think basketball will survive.
Okay.
And then hockey second.
Scotty?
I'm going. I was gonna say basketball, DJ, and more specifically, with the NBA, but that was like Lou Williams doing what he did. I just have everything tells me that's out there on the surface that it would still be the NBA because of like what DJ said, just less guys, and what Dave said, less guys, and so on. But I just have this feeling, DJ, call Roger Goodell an idiot, whatever you want to call him.
I will.
The NFL they do such a terrific job with being relevant 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
They got great marketing.
365. I just have this feeling they're gonna get and find a way to complete a season. So I'm saying NFL.
Well, when you and I'm not going to argue with it. When you look at this, there was a Yahoo report that came out and said if the NFL doesn't have fans in the stands, they lose they're set to lose $5.5 billion. So when you look at that, and I had a nice, charming comment, I thought, that Captain Mahomes of the Patrick Mahomes fan club over there.
Hey, if you're going to be the face of the league, help the league out financially.
There was a game check.
Yeah. But my thing is I don't think the NFL is worried about people at all. Like, I don't think they care if you or I get sick. As a matter of fact, you're seeing NFL players drop out and opt out at an alarming rate because there's no way to avoid this. And a lot of them are having kids. So you look at this because NFL players are typically younger outside the quarterback and kicking positions. They're having kids now in the prime of their years, so that way they're set up. What you're not seeing is anybody caring about from the administrative point other than the social injustice thing. We're not hearing anything about Corona. We're hearing about the social injustice and everything being painted in the end zones and who's going to kneel and who's going to stand and who's going to do this. They don't care. They don't care as long as they – this is my biggest problem with sports right now is I feel like we talked about guaranteed money yesterday. Scotty, you heard that rant. It's not so much about guaranteed money for me, and I thought about this on the way to my game. It's about the athletes trying to make as much money as they can while doing the least amount of work possible. That's my problem. That's my problem. Because this isn't like you put in your tenure and you are paid the rest of the way. This isn't your comp check. This is you are paid to do a level of work to any degree based on your check. So if Patrick Mahomes signs a $1 zillion contract, he better live up to it or else he's out. Now, when you have guaranteed money, I have problems with that. Because if he doesn't live up to it, does he deserve the money? I don't think. Like, if he goes next year, Anthony, and throws 3 touchdowns and 47 interceptions, hypothetically, is he worth what he's getting paid?
No, because we're paying him.
He seems like the kind of guy that would give back his money.
You think?
He would.
I think he would.
You think Patrick Mahomes would give back his money, be like, you know what, guys, I didn't live up to it. Here it is. Here's a refund.
I think Patrick Mahomes would say a good thing that my contract hasn't started yet.
I knew he was going to go to that. He loves going to the. Well, his contract doesn't start for 3 years, so
it's a good thing for the Chiefs. That's all. That's my only point was when I made it yesterday. It was a good thing for the Chiefs.
So in 3 years, from now, if he throws 2 touchdowns and 47 interceptions,
no, he's not. I said it when you asked me the first time. He's not worth that money if he doesn't go out and do what we're expecting him to do.
But if you're an owner and that happens,
right,
you don't get your money back.
Right, you have to give him his guaranteed money. I know he's not guaranteed the whole contract, but he's guaranteed a big chunk of it.
You're not cutting him.
No, and if you cut him, somebody else is going to sign him. Right. They're going to go, okay, well, we know who he is, and that was a fluke year, whatever. But I'm not a huge believer in that.
Got pretty set up.
DJ, what? Just something I was thinking about, because like most people that talk sports, you base a lot on like championships and stuff like that, which is fine.
The ultimate goal, yeah.
I was just trying to paint a picture of, Eli's got 2 Super Bowls. A lot of people think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, here we go. I see where this is going again.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. So, what does Mahomes have to do in your mind to say that, you know what, he lived up to that contract? Is it 2 more Super Bowls, or does he have to rival or get close to someone like Tom Brady?
I don't like that we always, after one season, we put people in the Hall of Fame. Like, that's my thing. After 2 seasons of playing, you truly believe that Patrick Mahomes, if his
I
career
think
ended
you
right now,
could make the argument.
I wouldn't put him
he's
in
a
the
Hall of Fame.
he's in the Hall of really good right now.
I'm a Chiefs fan. I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame if he ended his career now.
Okay, so what I'm saying is like after let this breathe a little bit. You know what I mean? What's the rush? I know it's a fun topic to discuss, but Eli Manning has been doing it for 20 years. Okay, yeah. Is he a fringe guy to me? He is. He is. He's got 2 Super Bowl championships. He's on the fringe because his brother, hard yes. Show me where he has better numbers than everybody else. And listen, I'm a championships guy. He's got 2 championships. That's all he's got. He's got
That's
3 years of
my point,
really
though.
bad.
He's got 2 championships and he's a Hall of Famer. So
Whoa! He's not a Hall of Famer.
But he will be. Though,
there's no guarantee.
No, Jim Plunkett's not in. He's got 2 Super Bowls.
That's what I'm saying. Is there's no guarantee that Eli
I
Manning.
think there's
put Brian Gracie in the Super
I think
Bowl.
people love the Manning family, and I'd be shocked.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think
Don't be surprised.
I think there's
I think this guy's gonna
if
play.
you see Eli Manning on the NFL Network, then Eli Manning's going to the Hall of Fame. That's my perception.
And I
Cooper's
think
got his own segment for Christ's sakes.
I think he will be.
Well, and that's your opinion, but Eli's also put in almost 2 decades of work, where you don't have that from Mahomes.
If Mahomes has one more year, wins the
That's-
MVP and Super Bowl, then maybe.
Okay, if he wins another Super Bowl next year, right? Awesome. So he's a multi championship quarterback. Then if he wins an MVP to go along with that Super Bowl, then he's in the discussion already. But the problem is every snap a quarterback takes, every snap a professional football player takes, is one snap away from never playing again.
Mahomes came close. I mean, not never playing again, but he came close to ending his season last year.
Well, yes, and all you need is one really bad break, one really bad situation, and we're never ever talking about Patrick Mahomes again, other than how much money he should have to give back to Kansas City outside of being an owner now of the Royals. Which
Is Bo Jackson in the Hall of Fame?
No.
I don't think, but he's in the Tecmo Super Bowl Hall of Fame.
Right.
But I will say this, and the point I didn't get to say yesterday because I wanted you to have that entire segment. I don't think it's a good idea for a player right now to be investing because I feel like that takes your eye off the ball a little bit. Like if he wants,
I don't know why he did. I mean, I get his roots are in baseball. His dad played baseball for 13 years. He grew up in a baseball locker room.
His godfather's LaTroy Hawkins.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball's in his blood, and he loves the city of Kansas City. He wanted to put roots down, but he did that when he signed 10 years.
You know what regular athletes do? They open up a barbecue joint or a bar. When you become I think it's the responsible thing. Or car wash. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, like, Rod Woodson had 26 Grill or whatever, Hot Rod Grill, whatever that was. Bettis had his own restaurant in Pittsburgh. Heinz Ward has his own
Honey Buns.
Table 86. What?
Frozen honey buns at Giant Eagle. Heinz Ward.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that. Wow. Didn't know that. You learn something new every day. See, that's all he had to do. Again, to your point, he's not getting paid for the next 3 years. What happens if the dude completely gets amputated next year and he's still a part owner of the Royals? Like, I feel like this is on credit, right? Like a little bit, because he's not getting paid that much right now.
No, right now he's the 30th lowest paid quarterback in the league.
So when you look at that,
So what's his incentive?
we talked about it on the show. Is this is on credit? This is like, yeah, he's walking up and saying, "Hey, look, this is the contract I got in 3 years. You good for this? Yeah, I'm good for that." So, do you really think that this is? I mean, he should be focused on winning championships and winning
He's the first
MVPs.
athlete to do this too, to go and own a team.
Not smart
in his career.
Because I think this is going to be a domino effect, and I don't like it because I know who's probably next, and I don't dislike him. But I surely don't like what he says and what he does off the court.
You think Mason Rudolph's going to get this kind of money?
I think LBJ is the next guy to invest in a team. And I think it's going to be – I don't think it's going to be the Cavs.
Do you think he'll wait till he retires?
Don't. See, I always thought it.
Do you
it
think
will
Dan
be
Gilbert's
the
gonna?
Cavs.
You think Dan Gilbert's gonna sell to LeBron James?
I don't think so, but Dan Gilbert, his health, he hasn't been.
No, he hasn't. But do you think that anybody close to him is going to say, as I don't care where you sell the team, as long as it's not to that guy? Like, where is it? That guy would be fun to watch. That guy, not you. It's the opposite to you guys, but on the screen, imagine Michael Jordan buying it. I mean, he did. He bought in on the Bobcats, right? And now the Hornets. So he's Mahomes is the first one to do it active during his career. But it's interesting to me because I don't think he'll be the last. I think this just opened a can of worms in Pandora's box that
So you think LeBron, even before he's done playing, you think LeBron's going to invest ownership?
I think Pat Mahomes just showed that it's okay because of the response. Not one place that I listened to, watched, did research on, nobody criticized Patrick Mahomes. They praised him for this.
Well, that's because right now it's like you do not criticize Patrick Mahomes right now in the media.
He's untouchable.
He's the Wonder Boy. I mean,
He is. And I think that his marketing team, fantastic. They knew what they were doing. But I think if you take away, if anybody else did this, people are saying, wait a minute, don't you have let's put Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger is going to buy into the Pirates.
Low character guy.
Okay, Myles Garrett. Is that any better? Oh, wait a minute. So there it is. I mean, if it's Roethlisberger, I don't care if it's Baker Mayfield. If Baker Mayfield buys into the Cavs and he doesn't win a championship, I still think that Kansas City looks at him, if they don't win a Super Bowl this year, and they go, where are his loyalties? Where are they? Because anytime any owner, any president, any CEO, any manager has anything going on but what they're doing, where their bread is buttered, they get criticized when they aren't at the top of their game, when they're not holding the trophy for whatever of the month, whatever of the year. They're going to get criticized.
But DJ, do you really think, because in my opinion, I'd be really, I could be wrong, who knows, but you would think it's not a guarantee, but it's close to a guarantee. If he stays healthy, obviously a freak injury could happen. You would think he's gonna get at least one more, and that's something that
he has a 1 out of 32 chance. The thing with if he was a baseball player, I would say 100% there's going to be a run. Let's say he played for the Royals and had the success. I would say, yeah, he's going to have a 10-year run. And that's why everybody – because here's the problem. The problem with all of this is football, you can go from worst to first in a year, depending on your draft.
Outside of Cleveland.
That too, outside of Cleveland. But I think what you're so used to, Scotty, is seeing the losses, seeing the dynasties for one side or the other. The NFL is set up to be a league that there's a different champion every year.
I think Tom Brady kind of changed the perspective that people have on football because he did things that
nobody's ever
aren't
done.
normal, and I don't think anyone's ever going to do again as far as go and win 7 or 6 or 7 championships.
In today's NFL, that's
even Mahomes. I mean, I would never try to say, well, if you don't go and match Brady, then you're not worth it. I would say, try to win 2 Super Bowls in 10 years. See if you can do that. That would be acceptable to me.
The NFL is a quarterback league.
Right?
They had to sign Mahomes.
No, I'm not saying they didn't have to. I'm just saying that if you're, it's all well and good. And do the Royals have the same ownership somewhat as the Chiefs? Did I read that?
No, I think because
the Hunt family owns
the Glass family gave it up last year, and I think a part owner of the Indians came up and bought them. Someone that was.
Yeah, I must have read the article wrong because it had Hunt in there somewhere.
He might be like a small part owner.
And that's what I'm wondering because if you're the Hunts, how do you feel? You just put a bunch of money on the table,
right?
And that's like
there were some people that said that they thought this might be like a part of his contract, like
you give a portion back.
but I want to be able to go and give some to the Royals or something.
That'd be interesting. I mean, his contract's out there, so it'd be interesting to read it and
I mean, like a under the table part of this contract.
Oh, I see
not
what
like
you're
a
saying.
written part of the contract, but like a wink, wink.
Well, this isn't something where the Royals saw that he cut a deal and they're like, hey, sign here. You can be a part-time owner. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that I'm just going to guess has been in the works for a while. But, I mean, as you guys either know or you don't know, in my experience, when somebody starts something new, they go all in. So when you see your franchise quarterback in the face of your league going into another adventure that's not in your league and not on your team, are there question marks? Are there obstacles? And should there be a conversation like, hey, Pat, appreciate you, obviously, $500 million, about that Royals contract? Yeah, I mean, as a Chiefs fan, as an owner, I'm assuming he had to sign somewhere. So when you look at that as a Chiefs fan, as a Royals fan, is it something where is there concern? I know you were excited about it, and I know it's really cool because you're all KC. But in the back of your mind, is there something that goes, man, this might be the start of something bad?
See, I just don't know what he is like. What is he going to have to do for the Royals that's going to distract him from football? He's just got money invested in him now. I mean, does he have responsibilities to the Royals that is going to distract? Is he going to go scout people? I mean,
no. But let's be honest. The Royals and your championship's going to buy you a little bit of time, but it's been like the Pirates.
That title will buy him at least 4 years.
4 years for what? For losing?
He's talking about the Royals championship in 15 is going to give them some leeway.
It's gonna buy him a little bit of time, but let's say in 2024, okay, well 2020, yeah, let's do this. 2023, when all that big money kicks in,
and the Royals still are
and the Royals stink, are people gonna start looking at whoever is the real owner or whoever is the minority owner because he's the bigger name, he's the bigger fish, and you go, hey Pat, because this is what Bob Nutting gets all the time. He owns Seven Springs. He owns a lot of things. And all Pirates fans seem to think, and they're really good at spending his money, but they don't want to go to the games, as Ron Potesta always says. So you look at this and you go, okay, Pat Mahomes, we need a big arm. You just got a $550 million contract. Why don't you go out and get – that's not the way it works.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people are going to actually think that he's making decisions because he's a football player. Like, it's not like Bob Nutting, who's just a businessman. He's like, football player. And I definitely don't think the Kansas City media are going to be the ones asking that question.
No, and it's not but you know and I know that they're the ones that are going to be stoking the flames. Yeah. We know how media works, and especially during a pandemic, there's a lot of people, when baseball comes back, listen, I'm happy the Pirates have a freaking team right now. I'm really happy. I'm happy that for the years, the window that we had with McCutchen and Walker and, all those guys, Jason Grilli, you name it. I'm not complaining about how bad they are. I recognize that. We're a small market team. We're not going to contend every year. What I'm worried about is when you know how much somebody makes, like a Pat Mahomes, you start taking dollars out of his one fund to the other fund because you think he's all in. This is the way sports fans think, right? They go, oh, well, wait. Pat, we need, I don't know who, the next arm, right? We need that guy. Go get that guy. That's how all fans work. Right. Turn on the radio and listen to the AM sports stations. Mm-hmm. All fans think that money just literally grows on trees and that the owner should transfer out of their personal bank account into the team because they want to see him win. Now listen, owning a team is a business. It is not something that you play with your heart all the time. Like, even if Mark Cuban bought the Pirates, he's not going to take his entire net worth, and throw it into the Pittsburgh Pirates. He'd be crazy for that. Yeah, there's a bottom line. You got to make sure you're making money, sound investments, but you can invest in the team a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's
when that guy bought the Nets, that Russian nickel multi-billionaire. He didn't throw a lot of money into the Nets. He did.
No. It'll be funny to see if the opposite happen. If the Royals, get somebody and then all of a sudden they're competitive again in 2023. How much of the credit Mahomes gets for that, even though if he didn't really do anything for it.
And I think you're onto something there because you look at that, and business is the ultimate sport, guys. And if Mahomes gets the credit and he's not doing a whole lot, which I don't think he's gonna be,
all of a sudden the real owners are like, wait a minute.
The other guy's gonna be like, wait a minute. Pat wasn't even in these discussions. He was out trying to win a Super Bowl. He's out trying to be as somebody on that side would declare, a Hall of Famer. You're falling asleep over there.
I
think he is.
I just
3 hours is a long time, is it not?
Yeah, it is a long time. I was just throwing out that, I think you could argue. To me, if Eli is, then you can make the case for Mahomes. I mean, like he said, he should have two. He should have two already. If D Ford didn't jump off side.
I don't even contribute to that because there were so many things the Chiefs did to lose that game before D Ford jumped off side.
But you're dealing with a Browns fan,
right.
So it's always one play.
I feel bad for D Ford because Chiefs Kingdom just jumped on him so bad because he jumped off sides and Tom Brady threw an interception that would have won the game, but we still gave up 38 points in that game.
That's
old Tom Brady.
That's what I'm worried about for the Chiefs is the fact that their defense.
And that's what the Chiefs were worried about. That's why they scrapped their defense completely, brought in a new defensive coordinator, brought in an almost completely new defense.
Their defense is okay.
It's not going to be the best defense in the league, but it's going to be good enough to give Pat Mahomes room.
Better start drafting defense.
You got Frank Clark. You just signed
but
Chris
that's
Jones.
how I feel.
Got the Honey Badger out there.
Here it comes.
Not that they're
I'm ready
close to the same level, but I feel like everyone worships Myles Garrett. I just feel like the Browns. You look at they got so much talent on offense. That defense isn't very good at all. Aside from Myles Garrett,
they have a good line and they have a decent secondary. They just don't have any linebackers to help them out.
I'm not one that's even sold on the secondary. I mean, Denzel Ward has had one good year. Greedy Williams, don't know about him.
Like I said,
can we stop comparing the Browns to the Chiefs? Like, they haven't even won the division.
I know this, DJ, but on paper,
because that's where the game is played.
He's playing the static cat.
Is that right next to the crossword puzzles, or where is that?
If you would just let me talk, DJ, my point is
after your nap, I figured
there's no more excuses for Baker. Like, there's people that saying he has more talent altogether than Patrick Mahomes does.
Who said that?
There's been people. Mike Greenberg said it on Get Up.
When did he say that? Because I would.
He was a Jets fan, so
he said top to bottom. If you just look at their depth with Jarvis Landry, OBJ.
Mike Greenberg said the Browns are more talented than the Chiefs. Not Baker Mayfield is more talented than Patrick Mahomes.
No, not that.
Oh, that's what it sounded like.
That's what no, that's not my point. My point is the skill positions.
Tell Greenberg to go crunch some numbers. Tell Greenberg to go crunch some more numbers because, that's.
I'm not saying he's right. But
how many NFL games have been won on this notepad?
9.
Okay, that's what I'm looking at. Like, it's fun. Again, it's fun to talk about, but when you match up and you line up against teams on Sunday, the Browns have not proved anything, and the Chiefs did. They went out and won a Super Bowl. The other teams have. What another 27 franchises have. Browns have not. The Lions have not. The Titans have not.
They got really short.
Yeah, they were just short. So I mean, there's teams out there that are in your boat, but the argument that is, well, on paper the Pirates should win the championship, right? No, it's garbage because they play on a baseball field.
Maybe on paper 4 years ago. What roster are you looking at now?
That's the exact argument that I have for you. That if my Pirates don't have a chance, then neither do the Browns, and that's exactly it. And I'm not saying that from what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine standpoint. I'm saying it from Browns fans live for next year. But when reality is, the team's just not good. They go out and they get big names. Why do you think they get big names, Scotty? Is it to sell tickets or is it to win championships?
I don't think it's. I think those fans would show up every year no matter what. I think
they have.
Yeah. So
but I think they're also growing weary. I think they're growing tired because when you started at YSN, you told me, and I think you still believe Baker Mayfield is an MVP candidate.
I think he still could be, yes.
Okay. So when you look at that, what has he done to prove that to you?
I just think people, to go back to the point you made about guaranteeing money in Patrick Mahomes' contract, I think people, they go by so much off of one...
Right here.
Like
this is where you're going with.
Title hit.
This is what you're thinking with.
He won a Heisman?
And
did he win Rookie of the Year?
He didn't, but he had...
Barkley won it.
Oh, okay.
He had a great rookie.
That's
what I mean. 2 years ago, he had a great rookie season.
And then he put film on tape.
Last year, he was...
A little sophomore slump will be fine.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the sophomore slump?
Oh, I have.
Just because he stunk up the joint last year doesn't mean he can't bounce back.
I
would look at the reasons
he's
why
bouncing back.
I would look at the division he plays in and the guys he plays twice a year. And you said yourself that TJ Watt is probably one of the better players in the entire league when it comes to defense. And the Steelers are getting better defensively. They got better when they got Minkah Fitzpatrick. And then, there's that other team in Baltimore.
They have huge question marks on offense, though.
Not if Ben's healthy.
Like what? The one that looks like a question mark? Is that the question mark you're talking about?
First of all, Ben's basically made of glass now.
Oh, no.
He takes another big hit.
What
He's
are
gonna
you...
Be out for
if
the
any
season.
quarterback takes a big hit, they could be out for the season.
This sounds like a prayer that you do every night. Like,
dear God, this is Scotty.
He gets banged up
Please
every
make Ben
year.
Roethlisberger made of glass so that if he gets hit one more time, he can't just continue to absolutely dominate the Browns. That is what I think you sit there in bed and pray to.
That's what
he's... We'll go 12-4, I'm okay.
That's what he's done, but DJ, before
That's
he
what
got
he's done.
hurt last year, he had a worse QBR than Mason Rudolph and Doc Hodges.
Over the course of two games? Over the course of 2 games, Scotty.
He was still
Hey,
crap.
Scotty, if you have 16 tests in a semester and you fail the first 2, and you don't take the other 14, your average is going to be pretty doggone low, don't you think?
Yeah, but you could say that was a sign of things to come, that he was going to fail the other 14
Yeah,
tests.
you love that, like, all or nothing. Like, he had 14 games that he didn't play in. He had 14 games that he could have aced. Oh, by the way, his arm was like this. He needed basically Tommy John surgery to correct his arm. And now you're saying because he had Tommy John surgery that he's made of glass. It wasn't ACL reconstruction. It wasn't anything that was remotely to mobility
It wasn't a shoulder.
Yeah, it wasn't a shoulder. He can land on his shoulder and still be fine. He didn't break his clavicle. He didn't break anything. He got ligament surgery. Ligaments.
He's missed a lot of games, though.
And he's won a lot more.
Course of his career.
He's won a lot more than he's missed. Let's put it that way.
He's made maybe the
We'll be
best
happy
throw
when
in
he's not
Super Bowl
around.
I know that the Browns nation is sitting there waiting for Ben Roethlisberger to go.
Guys,
I'm
I'm done.
not saying he's not great. He is, but
You just said he was made of glass.
I'm saying he's injury prone. That's all I said.
No, you said he was made of glass. That was no injury prone.
That's injury
Injury, yeah.
He's made of glass.
That's like RG3.
How is he made of glass, Dave?
He's 38 years old.
And then? He's trying to come to your rescue. He's trying to be your white horse here.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Okay, that's it. That's as far as it's going to go. He's 38. And, I don't know. I mean, running back in the league.
Steelers.